The following program, though incredibly nerdy, is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised, and you probably shouldn't watch if you're an overly sensitive pussy.
Top of the morning to you. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I had a good weekend. I had a fantastic little birthday weekend, man. Big chillin'. Hanging out. And of course, there was crazy stuff going on. There was like the Netflix stuff, and it looked like maybe, I mean, it kind of still maybe looks like Netflix is going to get this thing, but breaking news, guys, it's not clickbait. Breaking news. Paramount is attempting a hostile takeover at over $100 billion from what I've seen. And that's real. Like, they're doing it. Like, they might actually get it. And I want to go over it. We'll talk about, the stuff that came out Friday, speculation people had over the weekend. Look, I personally think, and maybe this is just the way I'm thinking about it and just the way I'm looking at it, but I think you can look at what Trump said even as yesterday, and I think you can kind of read between the lines of what he's actually saying there, but we're going to get into it. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss. There's a lot of ins and outs. And, this story, which is maybe still the craziest entertainment story of the last decade. Maybe Fox Disney, was as big, maybe bigger, but this is absolutely wild. And we're entering a new stage of this whole thing where it's like literally last week, it was Netflix. Over the weekend, people are making peace with, with Netflix, and Paramount today was like, yeah, I don't think so, bud. And they're making a play at it. So it's pretty crazy. We're going to talk about it. We'll get into it. There's a lot of topics today, guys. A lot to get into. CCXP does show crazy superhero content coming out in April. The Boys, Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, and Invincible Season 4, all coming out in the same time frame. Their episodes will overlap, at least some, and that's wild. So April of 2026 is going to be an insane year, so I want to go over that, talk about that. There's, of course, stuff about the Supergirl trailer. The Supergirl trailer. James got invited all the shills and Access Media, including me. I sold out, baby, and I went to New York to watch the trailer, so I have only good things to say about it. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. That's going to be pretty interesting. I also want to talk about Spider-Man Noir. Spider-Man Noir is like one of my most anticipated superhero things. And there was some footage seen and some leaks and some concept art, some art, actual promotion art as well for that project. So I want to go over that. I think that's really cool. We're going to talk about Endgame getting re-released and the question of whether or not Kevin Feige is going to rain all over James Gunn's parade this week with the trailer for Avengers Doomsday, and we'll talk about some of the speculation of the trailer for Doomsday. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty wild, and I'm excited to get into all of that. We have a little story about Valyria. And her potentially being cast, and wow, it's a great casting choice. And I'll go over some of the rumors and the reasons we believe Valyria is probably in Doomsday. More likely in Secret Wars. Potentially Vanessa Kirby will be pregnant with her in the Doomsday film, but we'll talk about it. We'll get into all of that. And then, the moment you're all waiting for, Warhammer news, baby. Everybody keeps asking me, what's going on with the Henry Cavill John? What's up with the Henry Cavill John? We got updates. I got updates for your ass. And I got things to say, because of course this is all just foreplay until Henry Cavill's Warhammer thing comes out and fucking ruins all the other fandoms. It's over for everybody except maybe Marvel a little bit. But everybody else is cooked. Star Wars cooked. DC cooked. What else is out there? Star Trek cooked. Name me something. Name me something that's out there that's cool. Cooked. Because Warhammer's taking over. Oh, you're paying some towel right now? Nice, man. Nice. Hey, by the way, guys, I actually forgot to make my coffee for the stream, so I'm probably going to step out for a second and go get some coffee. But what I'd like to know, because remember, last week was my birthday. Friday was my birthday. Nintendo cooked! Remember, last Friday was my birthday, and I only asked for one thing, which I'm absolutely certain you all took very seriously and went out and did for me. And the only thing that I wanted for my birthday, the only thing, was that you go out and try a little Warhammer, just something, you know, like a video, a Wikipedia article, maybe look at some of the art, you know, maybe go to the Warhammer store, just engage with Warhammer a little bit. So we're going to start today's stream off with checking to see if you did your goddamn homework. So put it into the freaking chat right now. What did you do? How did you learn about Warhammer? Tell me about it, and I can answer questions and stuff for you too. Listening to the Fall of Cadia audiobook right now. Nice, man. The Fall of Cadia is obviously a massive event. I won't try to spoilers, but yeah. I rewatch your intro video. Nice. That's awesome. I did it. Get him out of here. Dawn of War trailer. Ooh, that's a good one. See, that's easy peasy. That's a good one. I actually am going to talk about Dawn of War a little bit later. I didn't learn anything, Adam. What the fuck? Trev? I got life to live? Jeez. Yeah, well, guess what? You want that life to be, like, actually dope? Check out Warhammer. You know what I mean? Like, enough of all this, like, pussy-ass Western media that's just telling you to be a soy boy bitch. You know what I mean? And honestly, even Marvel's, you know, they're turning it around. It's going to be okay. But fuck that shit. We need to conquer the stars in the name of the God Emperor. Get with it, Grandpa. Holy shit. Purple Funk says, here's a B-Day gift for you, Josh. What Warhammer 40k character is Doctor Doom most similar to? So proud and happy to be part of this ranchy community. We back, baby. I mean, you had me in the first half. I mean, I'm tempted to say the God Emperor. There's a similarity there. I actually have written videos about this that I haven't recorded yet. I love God Emperor. So there's like three main God Emperors in fiction, right? I mean, there's more, but these are the three main ones. It's Leto II. It's the God Emperor of the Warhammer universe and the Imperium. And it is Doctor Doom. God Emperor Doom is a real thing. And though his reign was short, it was good. So they're similar in that sense where they kind of have this take of like, hey, people are probably better off if I just take over. So in that sense, they are, he's like the Emperor. Darth Saber, appreciate the 10 spot, brother, says, let me cook. Doom is giving his speech after the final battle against Loki, Cap, and Thor, and just Doom finishes his speech. Loki opens an interdimensional portal. You see Titus walk out. Doom's cooked. Yo, I think Titus would get fucked up by the Emperor, dude. No offense. I mean, Titus is awesome, but Doom would fuck him up, bro. You got to go like at least Primarch level or maybe incredibly powerful Psyker. Yeah, holy. Connor, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now. Woo! Been mooching free for a long time. Time to be a true Nerd Venger. Well, it's a great time to do that, brother. It is a great time to do that. And while we're on that note, as we're checking everybody's homework, let me just say, let me explain the schedule for this week and really something about the rest of the year. Now, this is going to sound like a bad thing, and a lot of you are probably going to bitch and moan about it, but trust me, it's a good thing. So hear me out. This coming Wednesday is going to be the last member stream of the year. I will not go live again for members until we are in January of next year, okay? Now, that sounds bad, but let me explain. I have been cooking on what changes do we want to make to the membership and to the community and just in general for the channels going into next year. I have a big list of dope stuff, and so this Wednesday, come on by if you're a member, 7:30 Eastern time. I'm going to go over all of the coming changes. Then I need like time to actually put these things, like to implement these things. Trust me, really, really cool stuff coming. And these next 2 years are going to be the biggest years for the channel, for the community. It's going to feel similar to the Endgame and the Infinity War time period. We're going to get really hyped up, a lot of theories. There's other really cool stuff coming as well. You know, hopefully Supergirl's cool, you know, and hopefully there's other cool stuff out there too. But in general, these are big years for us coming up. And so I really wanted to like revamp the memberships, add value back to the community, make sure that it's like still really worth it to be a community member. And so I have incredible ideas. We're going to talk about that well, not tomorrow, Wednesday night. Wednesday night, we'll talk about that. And then I need time to cook. There should also be a big Unity update by the end of the year. I'm trying to get that Unity update out by Christmas, just so everybody knows where that stands. Unity is still going to ship. We have over 100 pages of completed art already, but we have to finish this chapter and then get the rest of the stuff moving. I'll explain everything in that update for that. But yeah, other than that, man, it's like, I feel like the next couple of weeks are going to be pretty crazy. If the rumors of those 3 trailers is correct, then I'm going to be like, that's just a lot, right? But I'm literally working on content that we're going to release next year. Some of you know what it is. And man, am I excited. So, I'm excited. So this Wednesday, if you can, and if you can't come live, please watch that stream on the replay if you're a member. I just want to help to explain why things are going to be so freaking dope next year. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. Does being a nerd Avenger still make me bigger, faster, stronger? Yeah, I mean, results may vary, blah, 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 blah. I'm not a lawyer, but yes. Congrats on 57, Joshy boy. What did James Goon get you for his birthday? So for my birthday, James Goon got me a Supergirl trailer that I can make fun of and talk shit about and not get clowned on the way I did with Superman, because it's truly going to be horrible and everybody's going to freak the fuck out. So that's what he got me for my birthday. Thank you, James. Appreciate you, buddy. Mr. Rossi says, what did you wanted? And I bought some Warhammer dolls, sent them to KK. Told you and Disney should buy this IP. That's what you wanted, right? Jesus Christ. Here we go, I guess. Here we go, I guess. Thanks a lot, Rossi. Appreciate you. Great. Yeah, when's the 2025 year in review stream? I'm not sure if we'll do it this week or next week, but trust me, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Damn, that bad? Yes, it's terrible. We'll talk about it, though. Drunk Supergirl who forgot her dog movie. Sounds fun. It sounds like something. Can we get Diamond Lounge back after first of the year? Unfortunately, the Diamond Lounge is not coming back, guys. The Diamond Lounge is never coming back. And I know that sucks, but you just have to think about why. Like, just think about it. It's actually, like, it's never coming back. Josh, what's your thoughts on the new scooper? Vaberant says Doom is Civil War Part 2, Steve and Tony. So, you know, maybe this is just a new person on the scene, or maybe this is a bot account of the Scooper Cabal, which I've continued to tell you guys. They turned on Kevin because, well, Marvel's going back to Dude Bro coded content, and they're super mad about it. So I look, he's either a well-meaning person that just happens to align with their views, or he's just an extension of that cabal and somebody that is continuing to try to hurt the prospect of Doomsday. Here's something that you got to understand. If Doomsday is the movie that a lot of us think it's going to be, which is like a return to form, it's all the old characters. It's a sequel to Endgame. It's kind of like getting rid of a lot of the stuff in Phase 4 and 5, or at least looking past it. If it succeeds, then we're never going back to that bullshit. At least not in the way we were. And I think for some of these people, like, that is just an unacceptable outcome, and that's why they're flailing. So look, I'm very serious about this. Like, I'm very serious about this. It is obvious to me that that group of people, for the most part, is super liberal. You could say woke, you could say whatever you want. They're very progressive, and they are super mad that Kevin, and also just most of Hollywood, is going away from all the left-leaning stuff that had, I think, been way overdone in the past 5 years. You don't have to agree with that. Your mileage may vary, but that's what it is. That's what it is. Oh, I get it. I just love the alien and philosophical talk. You should maybe start a page for that. I'd join. Here's what I'll tell you, man. Here's what I'll tell you, Frostrodomus. I appreciate it, and there's a part of me that really wants to do it, you know? I mean, it's obviously stuff I'm interested in. It's the kind of podcast that I watch. It's the content that I enjoy. But the difference between, like, me, and I don't know, man, maybe other people believe it too or whatever, but I believe what I believe so strongly that, like, I don't want no part of that. I don't want to get out there and start speaking on some stuff that, like, I think is legitimately true and that very powerful people don't want people to believe in. So fuck it. You believe what I believe, or I believe what I believe. You believe what you believe. Fuck it. We'll get on just fine. They got spoiled really fast. Yeah. Did people not like Civil War? Look, man, it's just, they're just painting it in a negative light. They just want to paint it in as negative as a light as possible. And so the very idea of it being Cap versus Doom is meant to be like, you're not getting like a regular Doom. You're not getting, like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but they are actually, yeah, they just want to rain on your parade. Thanks for letting the Delta band get back in the tower. Josh, much love to you and my homies for the help. Happy holidays, y'all. Yeah, welcome back, brother. Again, I don't really know what happened. I have a theory on what happened, but I don't think I banned you. I don't know. I'm quick on the trigger for sure, but I don't, like, remember banning you. You know what I mean? Did you catch the UFC? How about Pantoja? Yeah, I mean, look, I thought it was maybe one of the best cards I'd ever seen. And what a card to go out on for the pay-per-views before the Paramount era. Obviously, the Pantoja. I mean, here's the thing I'll say about the Pantoja thing. What I think a lot of people are not acknowledging is that Joshua threw his leg up. So there was even more momentum than a regular fall there, which is why the arm dislocated. So from my perspective, Joshua caused that injury. Now, it's still a freak accident in a sense, right? But I don't buy into that as much as other people do. To me, that's a legitimate victory. It is obviously not what you want to see just because, number one, it's gnarly and really gross. But also, like, Pantoja's an incredible athlete. It looked like it was going to be a great fight. You want a great fight, like most of the fights on that card, right? But, yeah, tough. But because it's a dislocation, hopefully, with enough time, he can heal back to regular. I mean, some people can never recover from an injury like that, but it's usually a mental thing. So we'll see. We'll see. Other than that, though, incredible nights of fights, man. From top to bottom, I just thought an incredible card. You know, Cejudo left it all out there, and the young homie showed what he was made of. I mean, he weathered everything, you know, and very impressive physically, timing-wise. He's a very impressive athlete. Petr Yan is, I mean, that's the best fight he's ever had. Like, and that's great. It's like, it reminds me of that Strickland fight where he beat Izzy. If you show up with your best and the other guy isn't at their best or doesn't have an answer for your best, like, you can do that kind of a performance. And it was crazy. The thing that I always go back to with Petr is, like, I think he beat Sean O'Malley. That fight, to me, like, I'll never let that shit go. I felt like Petr beat him, and then I also feel like the UFC they fucked Petr over to try to build Sean, which didn't work out anyway. But yeah, I mean, I think Petr Yan is, like, one of the most technically sound fighters I've ever seen. He was in a flow state. It was crazy. It was crazy to see. So, what do you think of the Big Ten Championship? I don't watch college ball, man. To be honest with you, I really don't watch a lot of football anymore. I watch the Steelers games. I watch the playoffs and all that. But yeah, how much did the Steelers pay the refs this week? You know what's funny about that, Connor? I thought about tweeting this, but I didn't. But I was like, man, if Tomlin would just pay the refs every week like he did this week, nobody would be calling for him to get fired. But that's just a joke. Yo, happy late birthday. It's my wife's birthday today. We celebrated her birthday weekend this past weekend as well. I hope you guys had a great time. I had a great time. Also got a lot of rest. You know, it was chill. I had told you guys I might stream on Saturday, and I had intended to, but that's because I thought we'd get a little something at CCXP or even in Tokyo. We kind of didn't get shit, man. In fact, like, dude, I woke up. So I was taking a nap right before when I was going to stream because I wanted to be fresh for the stream. And I like naps. You know what I mean? Like, naps are great. So I was napping. I woke up. The fucking presentation was over. And they didn't announce shit. I was like, oh, my God. What a letdown. You know what I mean? But we will talk later today in the show today about Doomsday trailer. What's the deal with that? What's going on with that? Yeah, we'll get into it. Did you see the workout where Suge knocked out Aljo? No, I didn't see that. You're going to talk about the Boys trailer? Yeah, we're going to talk about the Boys trailer for sure. It was a good trailer. Great song. I thought it was well built. It was a good trailer. I think Boys Season 5 is going to be huge. Apparently, like, they go hard, like, making fun of Trump and shit like that, which they've been leading in that direction anyway. I don't know that it's going to matter. I think I mean, the show, I thought last season was one of the weakest seasons they had done. And yet, its viewership was crazy. They've really built that brand well. People like the Boys, man. Even people that don't like the shots that Kripke takes and all that sort of stuff, they like the Boys. Like, it gets viewership. So, yeah, I think the Boys Season 5 is going to be huge. I would expect it to outperform Invincible and Daredevil, to be honest, when it all goes down in March and April. But anyways, I guess we'll get it started. Do you guys mind if I go put my coffee on, though, before we really get it going here? And also, I got to adjust this little thing here. Sorry. You know, those interdimensional beings always be fucking with our shit. Boom. All right. You guys cool if I go put a Nespresso on? I need an espresso. I need a little bit more coffee. Happy Monday, Nerd Vengers. Take my money, Josh. I'll watch after work. Much love. Hey, appreciate you. Zach, did I ever tell you where that came from? Take my money. Did I ever tell you that? Where that came from? It was a poker game. It was a poker game back in the day, and I remember it would be a thing where we would start yelling at each other, like, because a lot of the guys we worked together, and we'd be like, I'm gonna take all your money, and then, like, when it went down, they'd be like, you took my money, take my money. And then it, like, evolved into some shit I said on stream, and then it just got caught up or whatever. I don't really know. All right, I'll be right back. Ho, 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 motherfuckers. You might say that was real fast. You might be shocked at how fast. You might be shocked at how fast I just made that Nespresso, but I guess I had made it earlier and forgot about it. So, it's still warm. It's not like great. No, Futurama got it from me, Adam. Don't you know? I was playing that poker game way before that shit. All right, guys, let's get into this Netflix stuff, or I guess Warner Brothers stuff. Here's what I would like to know. No, Elisa's upstairs with the kids. Chat, before we get going on this, because it is fucking wild. How wild do you think this story has been on a scale from 1 to 10? How wild has the acquisition or sale of Warner Brothers been to you? Before we get into this properly, I just want to know where you guys are at with this. Like, are y'all feeling the same way? Are you like, okay, we got some 8s, we got some 9s, 1,000, a 20? I'd rather Paramount buy a 6 or a 9. Yeah, I see what you did there, Jar Jar. So to me, I was probably at a 9. I think I'm at a 10 now. I think this makes it a 10. Okay. And I want to explain everything that's going on. But the thing that's kind of wild is, like, I didn't even really talk about this on Friday. So I did a little clip, okay? I literally just was like, I don't really want to work on my birthday, but I'll do a little clip for Clips channel just to kind of go over it, et cetera, et cetera. But on, I think it was late Thursday night and going into Friday, there was the official announcement that Netflix had won the bidding war. Okay. And this was pretty shocking. Like, a lot of people were shocked that night. A lot of people were shocked going into Friday. There were a lot of reports. A lot of different people had takes. A lot of, there's so much going on. And I think the dust had not settled. I tried to sort of say that when I did the clip on Friday for you guys. I tried to say the dust has not settled yet. We do not know. And when it comes to Gunn, we do not know. When it comes to DCU, we do not know. When it comes to theatrical, this, that, second, and the third, we do not know. Now, Ted Sarandos, he hit the circuit of interviews Friday. He was on all the financial channels. He was giving out statements. He was like, bro, he was excited about this shit. He's talking about saving Hollywood, all these different things. And it really seemed and it really felt as though Netflix was going to get this thing. Now, in addition to that, as that was going on, you had the WGA say that the thing needed to be blocked. You had the Directors Guild saying they're going to go meet with Netflix and they're real worried. And, Nolan's the president of that shit, and he said some comments about Netflix and, streaming in general before. So there was pushback from the industry. You had people speculating that Trump would never let this go through, that it was a big old problem and all this stuff, right? Well, then this report came out. Now, this is before the statements made by Trumpy yesterday, but let's just kind of like follow along with this, okay? This thing came out via business, and there's like Bloomberg article. It's like all the financial institutions are digging, getting, juice from sources, etc. But check this out. New details on the Netflix and Warner Brothers merger. Netflix boss Ted Sarandos met with Donald Trump in November. He left with the impression that Netflix wouldn't face opposition from the White House in buying Warner Brothers. Netflix argued that YouTube is a bigger entertainment company than them. That's true, by the way, and just screen time for screen time, YouTube dominates every streaming platform that exists, just so you know. Donald Trump reportedly thinks the highest bidder should get Warner Brothers. That's a really important part of this, and we're going to come back to that. Paramount thought they would win the bidding war because of a friendly relationship with the Trump admin. Okay. Now, obviously, the actual report goes into more details. The gist of what people are getting at here is that Paramount really felt like they had the in. Okay, and basically until this morning, they were unwilling to bid higher than Netflix, and they had assumed that Netflix would face scrutiny. Netflix would, face antitrust laws and all this sort of stuff. And so basically up until literally this morning, this was where it stood. Remember, Paramount was maybe going to sue Warner Brothers for doing some unfair shit. This is a story we covered last week, et cetera, et cetera. Now, last night, and I'm not sure where this was at. Trump was somewhere, and he made a statement. He actually publicly made a statement about it. He spoke highly of Ted Sarandos, which you'd have to imagine is because Ted gave him money for his ballroom or whatever, right? He spoke highly of him. He said that what he's done in Hollywood is maybe the craziest thing they've ever seen, other than maybe MGM. But he said two things that are really important. He said he's like, they'll have an incredible stake, maybe too much of a stake. The financial people will look at it and I will weigh in on that decision. But then he kind of reiterated this point where he said Warner Brothers should go to the highest bidder. Okay. Now, that kind of takes us to this, which just came out this morning, blew my fucking mind a couple hours ago. The WB saga is far from over, and a lot of fight will go over this telenovela paralyzing the industry. Paramount won't allow Netflix to get away with Warner Brothers so quickly, launching a hostile takeover evaluated at $108 billion to leave Zaslav no other choice than selling to the mountain. Now, we've spoken about this before. I reminded you of what happened with Elon and Twitter. Okay, now Elon wants to buy Twitter. He starts poking around at it. He made a public offer. I think he literally tweeted it, which is kind of wild. But he makes some kind of public offer because I believe Twitter was private, wasn't it? I'm not even 100% sure, but I know he makes a public offer, and basically he then tried to walk away from that public offer, and Twitter and the board had a fiduciary responsibility to go after that offer because it was the highest value that shareholders could attain. So then they sued Elon to force him to buy at that point that he had said he would buy it at. So this is like a wild thing, but remember, the institution is a publicly traded corporation. Once you become incorporated and you are a publicly traded company, you have a fiduciary responsibility to your shareholders, those that own parts of your company on the public markets. You have a responsibility to deliver the most value and profit to those people. You're actually legally obligated, meaning if you did some shit, like for instance, if Paramount offers you $108 billion, but you're David Zaslav and you're like, well, Netflix will keep me around and this Netflix deal is kind of lit and it's only $82 billion, but I'll get treated better in this deal. And he decided to go with that deal. He gets sued by the shareholders. It's illegal. He has to go for the greatest value possible. And what is a hostile takeover? Well, a hostile takeover is literally like, you don't have a choice. Hostile takeover is presenting such an option that that fiduciary responsibility becomes something like a chain that holds you to that agreement. So that's what the hostile takeover is. And I guess this is such a breaking story that it's kind of like it's developing. Okay, now let me give you a little bit of speculation. I would like to know what you all think about this for sure. And we're going to have to kind of just see here. But I want to speculate about two different things. Okay. The first thing is, I think Trump was kind of saying this the whole time. And, you know, it's mafia shit. And, you know, some people don't speak mafia shit, but I think this is what it is. If you notice, the one thing that he's consistently said is the highest bidder should get it. I believe Trump was always going to try to help out his buddy over at Paramount. But I do not think Trump was going to let him lowball this shit. Basically, like, if you read in between the lines, the agreement that was really made between Sarandon and Trump was allow the highest bidder to actually win. And don't put walls in front of Netflix doing this. Play fair. That's what it was. And I think that if you look at these statements here and the reporting and what Trump said, it's almost like he was saying to the Ellisons, like, hey, I'll let this shit go through, but the highest bidder should get this, meaning like pony up and you'll get it. That's what it feels like to me. Now, that's, of course, speculation. Remember that Paramount was just so against giving that actual price offer for Warner Brothers. And it's also worth mentioning, and this is the other side of the speculation, that David Zaslav might actually go down as a genius CEO. That these moves, what is happening right now, could all be a play by Zaslav. And a lot of the stuff we speculated over the past several weeks might be actually playing out in front of our eyes. Because he has now forced this thing to $82 billion, potentially over $100 billion. This company was fucking floundering. I think it was trading at like $12 a share or something. Like when he bought it, this was after the HBO Max and the sort of failure of their attempt to do day and date releases. They had a terrible fiscal year. He was able, through what I basically just consider shenanigans, to get in here, consolidate things, cut costs, get the numbers to the point where Wall Street liked them, to boost the stock, put out, frankly, a good performance of films this year, which is to the credit of a lot of the people at Warner Brothers, including Gunn, including DeLuca and Abdi. But at the end of the day, David Zaslav came in, made incredible amounts of cuts, changed shit up, was pretty meticulous in the way that he built this whole thing. And at the end of the day, if he gets $108 billion for the shareholders of people like at Warner Brothers, then like he will kind of go down as maybe one of the greatest CEOs of all time. But what I want to illustrate about this, and I tweeted about this. In fact, I'll just pull up my tweet about this. The thing that is sort of unspoken here that I think is worth getting into, okay, is that this is the difference between Wall Street and Main Street. So I'm just going to read you this tweet here, and then I'll explain what I mean in more detail. So I said here, this whole situation really illustrates the difference between Wall Street and Main Street. In some ways, Zaslav is now one of the greatest CEOs of all time. He took a company that was dying and somehow made it worth 80+ billion. However, many believe he has been hurting consumers and the future of the movie business in order to do so. Shareholder value is not the same thing as stakeholder value. And that difference is at the core of why regular folks are being left behind. And like, this is sort of a nuanced thing to try to discuss, but essentially, like, a lot of people are looking at either the Paramount or the Netflix deal as a disaster for Hollywood for various reasons. And a lot of people look at the actions that Zaslav took as pretty disastrous as well, killing movies, ripping things off the streaming services simply so you wouldn't have to continue paying license and stuff. Like, dude, this dude was stingy and came in and made some crazy cuts. So he came in and did what Wall Street wanted to do. And yet actual people got sent packing, actual people lost income, actual human beings are worried about what's going to happen to this legacy studio. And this is just so a microcosm for the American economy. And there's so much going on right now with like speculators and investors and traders. And, you know, like the president keeps trying to tell Americans that cost is going down on these certain items and that like affordability is like fugazi and all this sort of stuff. And they're able to point to like the stock market. They're able to point to these, and actually the stock market is like not even doing incredible. It's doing great considering, and they're going to put the money printer back on and it's going to look good on paper next year. But then there's like the hidden tax of inflation and there's all these different things. So this story is fascinating. It is interesting. It is also, I think, a way to look at what is actually going on with the U.S. economy and what's going on with consumers. I saw another report recently that was fascinating, and I'll end on this point, and then I want to know what you guys think about this. So there are a lot of things in our world that are technically cheaper than ever. Some food items, you know, arguably fresh water, certain things are maybe cheaper than ever. But the thing that's weird, and this is like a cost that many don't think about, is a lot of the entry points to be an actually contributing and active member of society that is connected, meaning like an internet connection, a smartphone, a computer, a television, cable, or, you know, access to content. Those things are actually like mostly increasing in price. And so what you have is an economy that drops prices on certain things and yet jacks up the price of what you might not consider like needed, because do you really need a smartphone? No. But if you want to be an American active in society that like knows where the fuck they're going when they're driving, etc., you need a smartphone. That's the worst contract an American signs. It's absolutely terrible. These telecommunication companies are fucking you every year. So we live in a system where although some things are cheaper, all of the things you really need to like really be a part of the society are increasing and increasing in a really scary way. That is why you can see some of these statistics of like affordability, and people are able to paint it in a way where it's like, oh, well, all of these things are cheaper. Why are these people complaining? Well, they're complaining because the actual elements that connect you into this culture are being jacked up. And a lot of this shit is rent seeking. And this takes me to a place, and I know this is controversial because people really like the theater experience, and that you see all these people out here trying to defend the theater experience and all that. Guys, I think Ted Sarandis is right. I think the theater experience and what Hollywood's been doing over the past couple of years is what is known as rent-seeking capitalism. And I want to just explain this briefly, and then we'll kind of move on and get your thoughts on this, okay? But what rent-seeking capitalism is essentially capitalism that does not actually add value into the system and instead seeks rent from value that was once added. A couple of different examples of this. There's the subscription service to the streaming service that you would never do, but they have the sports event, so you do it, and then you forget to unsubscribe, and it takes your money for months and months and months, and maybe they even make it difficult for you to unsubscribe, right? There's the Amazon Prime thing, and then in certain regions where it's getting expensive, there's actually no Prime option, and all these things kind of get stripped away, so the shitification of that happens. This is Uber paying less and less to its own people that drive and asking more and more money from its consumers while actually not adding any new value. It's not getting any better. It's just sucking value out of the system, okay? And another example of this is the movie theaters. So the movie industry has the content. They've got the movie. And in fact, a lot of people, this is the other thing that's crazy. A lot of elites, they actually watch these movies before anybody else. They either go to screenings and watch them before everybody else, or they just get sent them. They literally just get sent them, like digitally. So don't tell me they couldn't do this. Of course they could do this. They basically gatekeep the content by putting it in these theaters. So you have to go to a location, spend extra, spend way more on concessions than you need to. That's also rent seeking. There's no actual value added there, right? And on top of that, one of the things that happened in the past couple of years that I found crazy was they walked back a change they had made during like 2020, and they started widening the release windows. So like basically it'll be 6 months or more before a film that exits theaters will go to its like home streaming service for no additional cost. And they gatekeep that behind a rental fee or a purchase fee, put it on airplanes and in hotels and all this sort of stuff. There is no value added there. That is fake value. They literally extend the period in which you cannot get the thing for free and then sort of trickle down the costs to try to get as much money as possible. And the problem with this rent-seeking capitalism is it sucks out money from the system that would otherwise be given to people that are actually creating value in the economy. And this is actually, I think, one of the biggest failures of the current form of capitalism that we are living in, which a lot of people call like crony capitalism. And I think that's what it is. And so while all of this is going on and all this hoopla is happening and all these different stories are going on, I just wanted to say that, like, as I'm looking at this go down, if Netflix gets this thing still, like, I would not be upset. And I think Netflix might force Hollywood. Like, I literally think Sarandis is right, that he could force Hollywood into actually meeting the consumer where they are and maybe, I don't know, adding actual value to the system. Stop taking value away and gatekeeping it. Actually add some value. And there's different ways you could do that with crazy premium screens, extra bit of content that's only available in the theater, free merchandise, free swag. Like, there's all sorts of ways you could actually add value. And yet Hollywood has refused to walk down that path. They are rent seeking. And I think it's why the industry's failing. So that's all my thoughts on it. I know we got all over the place. It's a little bit crazy. At the end of the day, guys, the breaking news, the most important thing, it seems like Paramount might actually get this thing now. Like, it actually seems like Paramount's going to hostily take this over. They're going to own Warner Brothers, and then things might get real fucking crazy, okay? Apparently, Gunn has a contract until mid-2027, and that's going to be honored regardless of who buys this thing. At least that's my understanding of it. But it's kind of seemed like Netflix was going to be... I originally thought Netflix would get rid of Gunn. Didn't really seem like that. It actually is seeming more and more like Netflix might keep Gunn. And so if you don't want Gunn stuff to continue, you might want this Paramount thing to go down. Because it seems like Paramount is actually the one that might bring change to the DCU. So those are my thoughts. Absolutely insane situation. I'll field some questions. Let's get into it. What do you guys think? What do you think? With all this talk of corporate takeover, I wish somebody would buy Star Wars from Disney and get a second chance from someone else. Yeah, that's fair, man. I don't know what it's going to take for Star Wars. Maybe they can slowly turn it around, or they can just sort of fall on their face so hard that drastic change is needed. Netflix is guilty of everything you just talked about. No, that's an oversimplification. If you could give me some specific things, maybe I would get into it, but like literally no. Netflix, just like Amazon, Netflix has actually been at the bleeding edge of actually meeting customers with value. You look at some of the things they've done with sports entertainment. You look at how they've increased bandwidth levels. Like, maybe you could argue adding ads was fucked up. And I do think it's crazy. But at the same time, everybody did it in the marketplace. They just were going along with it. And I still think Netflix did it better than a lot of these other people did, to be honest with you. But yeah. Leonard, welcome back to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now. The Bates Funny Farm. Thanks for the $2, man. Do you think the next move is to buy out theaters, have them slap a Netflix over where it used to say AMC? I'm not sure what the answer is, man. I think, like, look, I think this is people are not going to agree with me on that, right? Maybe some people will, but a lot of people, like, don't agree with that. And the thing that's wild about that is, like, in the wake of all this Netflix stuff, think about all the announcements that were just made. They're going to do a 50-year anniversary release of the original version of Star Wars. They're going to do the extended cuts of Lord of the Rings in the theaters. But, like, guys, they are literally, like, the Star Wars one, you could argue that actually has a value proposition because it's the original version and you probably won't be able to watch that on Disney Plus. But literally, like, what is the value proposition of going to see the extended cuts in theaters? It's literally just the theater experience, which I think has been pushed on us as fucking propaganda. The theater experience isn't even good. It's literally not. A bunch of people on their phones, a bunch of people talking, seats that are fucking terrible, screens that are kept dimmer than they actually should be so that the theater doesn't have to spend that crazy amount of electricity. This experience sucks balls. Like, what are we talking about here? Hollywood is so fucking crazy. They've watched their shit just go downhill, 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 and they never take a look at how the value proposition is terrible. Like, it's terrible. I would dead ass rather watch it at home. Think about the convenience. I could start it. I could stop it. I can pause it. I can rewind it. I can have a drink. I could stop to have a conversation. I could stop to take a phone call. I could literally smoke. I could drink. I could fucking do whatever the fuck I want. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Who are these people? Who are these people that have so co-opted people with propaganda that you have young people out here literally being like, save the theatrical, save the theatrical. For fucking what? Wall Street stole your future, and you're out here peddling for this town of people that doesn't give a fuck about you. What are you talking about? It's crazy to me. Like, and I don't want to go like super, super hard, but that's not even to mention that Hollywood is just propaganda itself. Right? Like, I don't know. I just think this whole thing is so wild to me. You know what it really shows is that propaganda works. Propaganda works. Like, you dead ass have people being like, I actually think I need to fight for the right to be a sheep. It's crazy. But then again, that's just one man's opinion, and sure, a strong opinion, but just an opinion. Nah, I'm not going to say that's the most amazing thing either, but I still love Avengers movies with friends at a theater. When's the last time you did that? When's the last time you had that experience? People who value experience over convenience would still rather go to the theater. That's certainly a take. And I'm not saying that there's not something to that take, but I could have a fucking experience at home. In fact, I just had an incredible theatrical experience at home over the weekend. And that's all I could say about it, but it was lit. Trust. And it's an experience I could not have had in a movie theater. So basically, your imagination sucks. You're like that guy in the movie The Italian Job that just buys all the things the other people say. It's fine. What about the theater workers? Brother, none of us are going to have a job in fucking 3 years. Okay? That shit needs figured out too. I'm not here happy that these people are not going to have a job. But what are you telling me? Until the robots can, like, I don't know. That's just a terrible, that is a separate problem. And by the way, most of these companies are making more profit than ever and are still firing motherfuckers. You know how many people Disney fired last year? Something like 8 to 10,000. 8 to 10,000. While raising their stock price. Propaganda doesn't work if people aren't stupid. Also, I think you just have a horrible theater by you. Mine is awesome. There's a good theater by me. It's like a couple hours away, and I drive to it sometimes, and I think it's horseshit. Would you advocate that DoorDash should replace restaurants? No. But restaurants should not sit or rest on their laurels, and restaurants should find ways to continue to add value to the customers, which, by the way, the restaurant industry constantly has to do. You know why? Because they work off a 15% margin. They don't have the capacity to do what these other industries are doing. And so in the restaurant industry, as soon as your shit starts going down a little bit, you need to shuffle, refigure it out, hire somebody at the executive level, come in with new deals, come in with a new menu or something. The margins are so thin that they don't have the ability to just rest on their laurels. The theatrical experience, sacred. A proper Dolby or IMAX theater is unmatched. Home experience ain't it. And again, I just feel like that's propaganda. Like, I literally feel like that's like, and by the way, we're starting to get into an area which is going to make a lot of you feel uncomfortable. But can you think of something else that tells you have to go drive to this big sacred building maybe all the time in order to have a sacred experience? Yeah. I think it's crazy, dude. I think that's insanity. But that's just me. Theater should be similar to the Sphere experience. Something like that would be absolutely incredible. I mean, at least that's like pushing the limits. At least that's like giving you something novel, something you've never experienced before. The ability to see something that you've never seen. Yeah. I don't know, man. I really love going to the movies. I'll spend the whole day at the local theater. I don't want that to go away. I don't think that it necessarily should go away. I think it should exist like record players exist today. There are people that love records, which, by the way, that technology is so stupid. They had a version of the grooves that went actually like up and down instead of across like this. It was literally better music, but I don't know. Anyway, I think you should be allowed to have your record players and you should be allowed to listen to your records. But the idea that the entire industry, like, imagine if the music industry gate kept all good music behind records. That's like the stuff I'm talking about. That doesn't make any fucking sense. People want to be able to get their music instantly. They want to download it. Imagine if the industry was like, nope, you got to go to the record player. And in fact, if you really want to hear it, you got to come to the record party where we play the record. Yeah, I think it's silly. I think it's propaganda. I think the industry should change radically, and I hope that it does. And I think with the advent of AI, here we go. Now you're all really going to get pissed. The advent of AI is going to break this whole system. Like, it just is. Like, I promise you. And there will be some companies and maybe some Hollywood productions that are going to utilize that technology and continue to make movies the way that they want or whatever. But there's going to be literally just some dudes or some gals that are going to make some of the most compelling movies of all time at their computer. Like, I'm telling you, that will happen. So, any other thoughts on this whole thing? Any other thoughts on this whole thing? AI success! Wrong! There is one 4K theater near me that's nearly an hour ago. Wait, what? You mean an hour away? The future sucks, bro. Not for me. Do you realize no one will be able to own the movies, not just the theater experience? You mean through like streaming services and stuff like that? Yeah, there's some truth to that. I think that physical media in that sense is a nice thing to have. Yeah. Acting like propaganda only exists on one side of the argument is foolish. Who said that? Who said that? We love watching movies at home. I just hate having to wait months after movies are out in theaters to watch them on streaming. Yeah, that's how I feel too. Yeah, so you guys are saying a lot of stuff, and that's fine. Like, you can have a separate opinion. That's absolutely fine. But the numbers would indicate that, like, you guys are wrong. And I know, like, people are going to bolster up, like, Zootopia 2 and shit or whatever. But, like, that movie made $500 million in China. They get a third of that back. So these are points that, like, Jason Kilar was trying to make years ago. But they're going to put vanity numbers in front of you to try to make you think like it's not as bad as it is. Oh, it is. It is. I bet Josh will be there in theaters for Doomsday, though. Yeah, but why will I be there in theaters? That's the question. Why will I be there in theaters? Why? Why? Because I have to be. They've gatekept it. Period. I get what you're saying, Josh. While it was a magical experience for Endgame No Way Home with a loud, passionate crowd, it was also annoying when everyone stood up and blocked my view of cap-lifting Milner. Yeah, 100%, dude. It's a bullshit experience. It is a bullshit experience, in my opinion. The sound, the screen, people's reactions. Yeah, have some friends over, get a sound system, have a great TV. Problem solved. No one wants to watch Doomsday on their phone. If I gave you Doomsday on your phone right now, are you telling me you wouldn't watch it on your phone? Bro, you're just disconnected. I mean, look, a lot of you are so emotional about this that you're like making like personal attacks or judgments to try to cope. Like, it's just so silly. Like, the numbers would indicate. I mean, do you think Hollywood's doing great? You think theaters are doing great? Like, what the fuck are y'all saying? Like, it's crazy to me. I live in Japan, and going to the movies is really good here. Nothing like the U.S. That's fair. That's fair. And I'm sure that it's, I mean, you guys have a pretty respectful culture, so I would imagine it's a more respectful experience for sure. We got to have VR theaters. Streaming ruined theaters. I think theaters were kind of dog shit even before that. Yeah. Okay, so let's do another experiment before we get on out of here. And I can't believe that's a half hour of yapping. I can't believe we just did that. So here's a question. How shitty do you think that take is? On a scale from 1 to 10, chat, throw it in there. How shitty is that take? Or do you think the take's awesome? If you put a 0 in the take, it means the take is awesome. Shogun Orta says, but aren't there certain aspects of the IMAX experience that can't be replicated? We have a huge screens in our home, but not that big. Hey, look at all those zeros. Hey-oh. That was a solid 7. Nice. I mean, dude, I guess you just have to judge it on your own. I mean, I think the size of the screen is kind of like the size of a cable package. Like, I don't actually think it's that big of a deal. Like, sure, you want it to be like big enough, right? You don't want it to be like really small. But I think at some point you're actually losing real estate because you can't just see it all. So this is like when cable packages would be like, you get 300 channels with this. It's like, you're going to watch 3 of them. You're going to watch like 5% of that screen at a time. You know? Like, nobody sits there with their fucking peripheral vision completely open and witnesses the full fucking screen of a movie. That's not how that shit works. Oh, and by the way, if you're doing that and you're in an IMAX theater and you look over here for a second and miss something that's over here, you're fucked. Whereas at home, you can literally rewind it. Rewind it. So anyway, now that I've pissed you all off about that take, I hope Paramount gets it. I hope they fire James Gunn, and I hope they destroy the movie theater industry. Okay, moving on. Moving right along, ladies and gentlemen. We've got more to do today. Oh, we got more to do today. I'm not done. I'm not done. Damn, propaganda works, though. Y'all got mad. Like, y'all were, like, making personal attacks and stuff. Think about how programmed you are to do that. Guys, like, I think the theatrical experience is not that good, and people have been ripping the consumer off for years. You don't like people. You don't leave your house. Like, you're twisted up, bro. Like, you're the one that's fucked up, not me. Crazy. Yeah, you're crazy. Okay. Let's keep going, though, because I appreciate your viewership, even though you're insane. Thank you. So let's talk about, I guess we'll talk about the Supergirls there. Y'all want to talk about the Supergirls? Let's talk about the Supergirls. This is going to be fun. So. This dropped yesterday. This is a little tease for the trailer. Here, let's get some volume on this. Let's get some audio. Whoa! Let's watch. Wait, here we go. Let's watch it. Here it is. Here, let's watch it together. Oh shit! Whoa! Okay, so little teaser trailer that dropped for Supergirl yesterday at 4 p.m. Now, on top of that, James Gunn and DC Studios did a another one of those things where they invite a bunch of people out to go see the trailer. Okay, and I wanted to put this out here because I was lucky enough to be invited out for the trailer, and I tweeted about it. Except that this is a fucking lie. Because of course, they would only invite shills and access media motherfuckers to go check out the James Gunn Supergirl trailer. And to be fair, everybody does that. You know what I mean? Everybody does that. Marvel even does that. I get it. You know, people like me are considered unsafe. But there were people that went out and did see this trailer, and they're not allowed to say shit about it. So I don't know. Okay. Anyway. So, although we didn't get anything from these people that indicated what was going to be in the trailer, a pooper scooper, known as My Time to Shine Hello, can't escape this bitch, is out here telling us actually what is in the trailer. So let's go over this article here over on murphysmultiverse.com, which does discuss the launch event, some of the reactions from it, and then goes over a leaked description of the trailer. And, it's dog piss. It is dog piss. So, here we go. Supergirl trailer description teases intergalactic dog piss. DC Studios had a launch event in New York City to unveil the first teaser trailer for Supergirl ahead of its release sometime this week. The film's star, Millie Alcock, was joined by director Greg Gillespie. The studio co-chairs James Gunn and Peter Safran, with hashtag Supergirl star Millie Alcock at the launch event for the film's first teaser trailer. Also here are DC head James Gunn and Peter Safran, plus Supergirl director Greg Gillespie in theaters June 26. That came from, oh God, that came from Eric Davis. As expected from such an event, a description of the teaser quickly made its way online. While it sounded as though the new film will have comedic beats, it also seems to be very much a road trip film where Kora Zor-El will come to terms with her past traumas. Sounds lame as hell. The description below comes via social media scooper. My Time to Shine Hello. Bane of the industry. Here's the thing. I blocked Shine. I don't like her. But there's one area in which Shine and I agree. And that's about James Gunn. And so, although we are enemies, we will put aside our differences here as she spoils the ridiculous trailer that is coming for Supergirl. So the friend, enemy of my enemy, friend, whatever. Here we go. The trailer opens with Crypto peeing on a newspaper with Superman on the cover. The trailer opens with Crypto peeing on a newspaper with Superman on the cover. Kara wakes up hungover, and we see her boarding a space bus. She's shown celebrating her 23rd birthday alone at a bar, really emphasizing her isolation. The trailer then moves into a montage of her and Ruth traveling across the galaxy to different locations. Krem appears briefly in a shot. Lobo is shown walking down a hallway. Trailer ends with Kara in full costume fighting enemies aboard a massive space battleship. Okay. So, that is the description coming from my time to shine of the first Supergirl trailer. So first thing I'll ask chat is, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think? Then I'll give my impression on it, and I'll discuss whether or not I think this will be a good move for the DCU. Let's see. Supergirl is going to be awesome. Can't wait to see Momoa as Lobo. Okay, there you go. Winner, Crash coming in. United by Goon. LMAO, I knew it. Big Oof. Doom's first victim. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Delta Dan. Yeah, he didn't write it direct. Yeah, he didn't write it direct, but you would, his fingerprints are all over it. LFG, more crypto. Let's see here. This sounds like IAS. Space Bus? What the fuck? This AI shit I think is shitty, but the theater shit I saw. Okay, yeah. I get you there. Trev's asking me to pronounce stuff. Trev, you got to be the most pedantic motherfucker on the planet. Trev, sit on your hands. Like, just sit on your hands. It's better when you don't speak. Like everywhere. But here you have to like type, so just sit on your hands, bud. Hancock remix. Yeah, something like that. Remove the dog piss and it's good. I mean, possibly. Yeah. Already better than Superman. Okay. All right. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Let's discuss. So I think they fucked up, man. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I think they fucked up. I think this is the worst possible movie to follow Superman up with. And the thing is, like, I like the idea of a Supergirl movie. This Tom King run, even though I haven't read it, it's respected by enough people that I respect, and I'm like, okay, there's something there. Probably going to be pretty good. I like Tom King. He's a little hit or miss, but, like, I like Tom King generally. And I don't, like, inherently hate it. There's some stuff they could be cooking with Brainiac, and I've talked about this before, but it really seems, if you look at some of the leaked concept art stuff, some of the stuff that's going on, it seems like they're going to adapt a retcon from an animated movie that had it changed it so that Kara witnessed Brainiac destroying her world, taking Kahndaq or whatever the fucking little world, planet, or city was. And that's different. So there was a Jeff Johns run, Unbound, I believe it was called, and he doesn't have that in there, but then they adapted it into animation and they made it so that Kara was there active. And the reason we think that's going down is it would explain why Kara is so messed up, why she's so alcoholic, et cetera. And sure, all that could be fine and all that could be cool. And I, as a comic book fan, it just, the way they might leverage Brainiac and make him this like thing that like Kara has PTSD over, and then, oh shit, she's in there and it's going to be like Lex and Superman got to save her or fight against her or whatever. Like, all that's kind of cool, okay? However, Superman itself, I think, underperformed. Particularly, Superman underperformed in international markets. And I do think that this whole push for the derivative female hero thing is not really flying well in these other markets. I just don't think they're as into it as even North Americans are, and I don't think North Americans are even into it that much. So to go from like a James Gunn Superman, which I think the big criticism was it's too James Gunn, to then follow up with a literal derivative female version of the character in Supergirl that is going to open its trailer with Crypto, the silly goofy dog from silly goofy James Gunn Superman, pissing on a fucking picture of Superman in the newspaper. And then you have wrecked, drunk, female Superman going on a galactic romp with another lady, and then there's supposed to be crazy cosmic action and stuff like that. Like, dude, this is all the red flags of setting people the fuck off. Now, I want to be fair about a couple of different things here. It depends on the action. If the action is lit, and to be honest with you, like, dude, the action in Superman is good, but there's not enough. If the action in Supergirl can be dialed up a little bit and look a little bit more slick and a little less cartoony and shit like that, I think that would be awesome. Lobo just walking down a hallway, that kind of sucks, but maybe he'll be looking badass enough and maybe have enough aura that will be like, yo, that's sick. I want to see more of that. And it is a teaser trailer ultimately, right? But like, I'm just telling you guys, this has all the trappings of being a total fucking disaster. And I think Gunn like just doesn't see it, dude. Again, this dude is running a phase 4 and phase 5 playbook, which we're starting to like realize was actually what he did to Marvel Studios itself. A lot of these people in phase 4 and 5 that come in, James Gunn recommends them, right? There's this like really popular viral clip of Grace realizing in real time that Gunn might have fucked Marvel with phase 4 and 5, and now he's doing the same thing over at DC. That shit is real. So I'm just telling you right now, I think this dude's running a phase 4 and phase 5 playbook that it looks goofy, or it seems like it's going to be goofy, seems like it's going to be completely derivative. It's girl boss power at a time when people are fucking over that shit. I think this might be like a total and complete fucking disaster for them. Now, having said that, I could be completely wrong. I ain't putting up $500 on this. Oh, you motherfuckers are trying to get another 500 out of me. Hell nah. Although, hey, Brandon Davis, if you're watching this, which I doubt you're watching this, and if you are, you're fucking really pissed off at me, which is all good, you know. But Brandon, if you want to go for round 2, Spider-Man versus Supergirl, I'll make that shit happen. I'll take that bet. But if you fucking win another 500 from me, you got to buy Warhammer. That's the only stipulation. Okay. Anyway, I'm just telling you right now, guys. I think this is like a disaster waiting to happen. I don't think Gunn has any fucking clue how bad this shit's going to be. And I think this first trailer is going to really start it all. That's my opinion. Here's the thing. The trailer comes out this Thursday. If we follow the pattern that they followed with Superman, then this trailer is popping early on Thursday. Okay? And I'm probably going to do what I did with the Superman trailer. I'll do a reaction on my own. I'll upload the reaction to YouTube. Then we'll go live. And I think, look, last time I hated the first trailer for Superman. I thought it was dog shit. A lot of you liked it. That's fine. The later trailers for Superman I liked a lot better. But that first trailer for Superman I thought was terrible. So many people fucking flamed me for that shit. People were so mad. They were so mad that I had that reaction to it. I'm willing to bet that if I have a similar reaction on Thursday, I won't even get 20% of the pushback that I got. I'm willing to bet that. Because I don't think people are going to like this shit. But again, I could be completely wrong. The ending of the action could be so fucking incredible that people are like, yo, I can't wait. Maybe people are okay with some dog piss, you know, and they're like, ha ha ha, James, you're so funny. But I think after the finale of Peacemaker, I think a lot of people in that fandom are just, they're either completely over it or they're really close to being like, I'm over this shit. So that's my thoughts on the fantastic, shill-approved Supergirl trailer. What do you guys think? Any thoughts, comments, questions? Any what do you think? Oh, ballpark. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. People that said Superman was too James Gunn are going to take back their words once Supergirl drops. Ooh. I don't know, maybe. Superman was trash. The trailer misled us. It's ironic that I liked the movie because I really liked that movie. I haven't watched it again since theaters, though. But I did really like that movie in theaters. You know, the theater experience is just great and definitely not rent keeping and propaganda. And I love traveling and spending extra on concessions and spending $20 on a movie that I'll get for free in like 6 months. I think it's fantastic. So I had a ball with Superman, you know? Can Supergirl be better than Superman? Premise, plot, characters. Is Gunn coming into his own? Here's the one redeeming quality of this movie, and it's actually the screenwriter. I forget her name, but she's apparently incredible. And there's some sign. I mean, she's already doing other scripts for them. So if this movie is absolute fire, it'll probably be because of Millie, the screenwriter, and Craig. Although I'm really not familiar with Craig, to be honest. Yes. Wait, what the hell? It probably won't do insane numbers, but I think there's a good chance it'll do better than Superman. If it does better than Superman, that's a huge win for them. Frankly, I think if this thing gets to $500 million, it's a huge win for them. I think if this thing gets like less than 4, though, Like, that's real bad. You liked it. Why? I thought the depiction of Clark was on point. I felt like James restricted himself, or maybe the studio restricted him. So it was like, there was still James Gunn shit all over it, but way less than I expected. I thought Mr. Terrific was awesome. I love the lore setup. Overall, the stuff with the family and Clark, like he's such like a dumbass, but it's perfect. Like, that's him. This thing ain't breaking 450. If it does, I think it'll be incredible. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to do better than Superman. I don't think it's going to do well at all. The trailer, I mean, we'll see. The trailer will give us some kind of indication, yeah. Did you see Corn Sweat said he waved off a gun note? Yeah, people are reading all into that or whatever. Like, I don't read too far into that stuff. It's just, it's stuff on the set. It's, you know, I think it's okay to have disagreements, especially in a creative environment. None of that is what it is. Like, everybody gets so, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think people get so bad faith about this stuff. I don't think you have to be bad faith to say any of the shit I just said. Like, Supergirl is a derivative of Superman. That's not bad faith. That's what it is. The world might be over girl boss movies. That's not bad faith. That's what it is. Like, I know, like, I don't know. Maybe y'all can't see it and you think that's bad faith. It literally is not. I am calling it as I see it. And I'm actually being pretty fucking kid gloves about it too. You know, maybe I'm snarky, maybe I make some funny jokes here and there, but like, dude, this is, this is merit. Like, this has merit. Can we talk about the Doomsday trailer now? Yeah. In a little bit. We got a couple other things here. What, you're not enjoying this? The topic so far? Is it shut up and dribble? Is it just get back to your Marvel shit? All right, well, Supergirl trailer Thursday, guys. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. Hey, by the way, no stream tomorrow. I forgot to mention that. No stream tomorrow, but that's because we're streaming Thursday. It's going to be a big deal. There's a lot going on Thursday, so it's going to be exciting. Letitia Wright posted a Doom comic. Oh, yeah? Okay. That's kind of interesting. Okay, you know what? It is a good time to talk about the Avengers Doomsday's trailer, okay? So, let's do a little thing here. So, the Supergirl trailer is going to drop this Thursday, and there's some question out there of whether or not Kevin Feige is going to ruin James Gunn's Christmas. And what I mean is, there are actual box office analysts that are saying that the Doomsday trailer is this week. There's some buzz around the 11th, which would be Thursday, right? Yeah, that would be Thursday. So why might this thing drop on Thursday, right? Because, by the way, I don't even think so. I think it's next week, but there is a possibility that it does drop this week, and I want to explain why. So I guess the main number one reason would be literally to ruin James Gunn's December. And look, Superman made more money than Fantastic Four in the box office, but I'm pretty sure Fantastic Four was more profitable. There are all these reports starting to come out that Fantastic Four is actually one of the least expensive movies Marvel ever made. And this is something we've been tracking about and talking about as well, where, you know, Feige had talked about cutting costs. Feige had a meeting with Gareth Edwards, because one thing Edwards does really well is do a lot of VFX for a low amount of cost. And that one movie that I hated, but he did, the robot movie or whatever, he made that for $80 million and it has a lot of VFX work. So we had actually talked about this, how Marvel was cutting money out of these budgets using those concepts. And so Fantastic Four might end up being one of the cheapest movies they've ever made. It might actually make more profit in theatrical than Superman did, okay? When we were leading up to Fantastic Four versus Superman, I really wished that Marvel had been more aggressive with the marketing. I mean, Kevin, we used to have a name for Kevin. We used to call him White Suge Knight, okay? Because Kevin, like, he talks, I mean, he's so good on the mic. He's so friendly, and he's got a warm smile, and his hat game is on point, et cetera, right? But behind the scenes, this dude's kind of cutthroat, okay? I mean, this dude told Edgar Wright to fuck off after working on a script for like 10 years. That's crazy. This dude found out they were doing BVS and ended up fast-tracking a Civil War movie. He convinced the studio to make this budget like close to $300 million, put all the Avengers in it, and made a better superheroes fighting each other movie than Batman v Superman, just to try to crush the competition. So this dude used to like make moves on the low, and we called him White Suge Knight. But White Suge Knight has been gone for like 5 years. Like, we haven't seen any shit like that. The closest was probably hiring Sam Raimi after firing Scott Derrickson. That had a little White Suge Knight energy, because it's like, oh, Scott Derrickson, sorry, you know, shame to lose you. Guess who's back to the fucking superhero genre? Sam Raimi! Ah! You know, like stuff like that. But really, by and large, we haven't really seen that energy from Kevin. And we certainly have not seen that energy from Kevin with regards to James Gunn. I was a little disappointed in the run-up to Superman that Fantastic Four didn't do more. There's some stuff in there, like the car from the first Superman Action Comics is the one that Ben lifts. You know, there's some stuff in there, but like it wasn't like that old energy. And a lot of us just believed, well, they're too close. They're friends. Kevin genuinely likes Gunn. Gunn genuinely likes Kevin. And you know, when it's a buddy, you're not going to be as cutthroat or whatever, right? So if that philosophy is persistent over there, then this trailer's not going to come out this week, right? And it's looking like that's probably what it is. However, I'm kind of hoping that maybe there's been some change of heart, or perhaps pressure from the top that is like, nah, man, we got to crush these motherfuckers. Because there's a lot of indication that there could be a trailer on Thursday as well. And I'll tell you this right now, the coldest shit Kevin could do is wait until the Supergirl trailer gets dropped and then drop the Doomsday trailer. It will suck all the air out of the room, and Supergirl will get completely snuffed out by that. I just promise you that's what would happen. I have trouble believing that will be the case, but that would absolutely crush the Supergirl trailer, okay? I think either way, by the way, the Supergirl trailer is going to kind of get crushed by Doomsday. It's just going to happen a week later. I think this shit's going to come out next week with the official release of Avatar. If the 3 trailer rumor is correct, then damn, we got 3 weeks of that shit, and that will just, like, people are going to be like, super who? Like, for real. But why are people saying this Thursday? Well, Daniel RPK scooped that there is a big Disney trailer coming on the 11th. And Avatar's already had 2 premieres. I believe it had a North American premiere and a UK premiere. But this week, it has a ton more. It has a Chinese premiere tonight. I think one in Germany tomorrow, maybe Japan. And so, like, sequentially this week, all the way, I think, to Thursday, big international premieres for Avatar. And it's possible that, like, in the wake of all those premieres, as all these people have talked about it, and there starts to get buzz from local influencers in all these different markets, that they might drop a teaser for the trailer, much like DC just did with Supergirl. And maybe that trailer comes out on Thursday to get everybody to go get tickets to go buy that. Because one of the reasons they do this is because this weekend is probably the biggest weekend of pre-sales tickets leading up to the actual movie next Thursday. Now, that's changed a little bit. There's a lot of walk-up business these days. So technically, like, you get pre-sales like Wednesday and Thursday's preview night. So I don't know how that works exactly, but that's a thing. And so it wouldn't be outside of the realm of possibilities for some kind of tease dropping this Thursday, and Disney pushing for people to buy tickets to Avatar to go get the to go watch the trailer. And in fact, let's be real about something. They might want you to buy 3 tickets. If the rumors are true about these 3 trailers, that's like almost an event. And I think it would be so bizarre if Disney spent all that money to do the 3 trailers and then wouldn't spend money to promote that idea to people, right? Like, duh. Like, it's not just going to be like, oh, shit, there's 3 trailers? No, they want everybody to know about it. So they're going to promote the fact that there are 3 trailers. So I think that's on the table. I think that could happen. And oh my God, would I love it. Oh my God, would I love that shit, man. Oh my God, would I love that shit. So that's you know, a part of this. The other thing that I'll sort of just add on to this segment here is the re-release of Avengers Endgame, which I think happens in September of next year. And look, it is obvious that Doomsday is a sequel to Endgame more than anything. We've been talking about that for weeks and weeks, months. It is true. I believe re-releasing Endgame is a brilliant idea. Number one, I think it could be so successful it dethrones Avatar, which they've gone back and forth. I mean, Avatar keeps re-releasing and getting that throne. Why can't Endgame? Okay. On top of that, I wouldn't be surprised if something a little extra, you want to talk about value proposition, I wouldn't be surprised if there's something a little extra in this re-release of Doomsday. Maybe some kind of thing at the beginning, but possibly some kind of thing at the end. Maybe some kind of tease of Doomsday. Maybe some kind of sizzler reel preview of Doomsday itself. Doesn't that seem like a proper, fine way to utilize all of the earned media and the space and the marketing and the money you're going to spend? I think that would be a really good idea. And so this incredible marketing campaign that we've been talking about with Doomsday is about to kick off either way. Maybe it's this week on the 11th, more likely next week, maybe a little bit of both as we get a small tease for what's going to come. The 3 trailer thing could be real. Sounds incredible. And then we're going to have a massive marketing campaign lasting all of 2026, pushing to a re-release of Avengers Endgame, which I personally believe will have extra shit to get us all excited and to go check out Doomsday in December. So that's what I think is going on with the Avengers Doomsday trailer. A lot of people, by the way, thought maybe we'd get something on Saturday. I kind of thought so as well. People keep thinking that maybe Sunday at 7, where they drop the dinner stuff with the Fantastic Four, they keep thinking maybe that'll happen. If that was going to happen, it would have been yesterday because it's like the 7-year anniversary of Endgame. So there's a lot of ways this could go down. I am expecting some level of tease going into next week, and we will have the official trailer, the first one, hopefully. Either way, it's the first one. Is it the first of 3, though? That's the question, and that'll happen next week. So with that being said, guys, what are your thoughts, comments, questions? What's going on? What do you think? A post-credit scene? Absolutely could be a post-credit scene. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A new post-credit scene, re-releasing Endgame? Absolutely. Absolutely. That would be incredible. Yeah. Released on YouTube in 4K, possibly. Yeah, hopefully it does. Yeah. I think so too. But you can watch Endgame at home, Josh. Yes, I can, and I do. And I did recently, and it was incredible. Mostly because I could pause and go take a poop. But what I'm saying to you is this. Don't just re-release it. Give an extra value proposition. And that's all I'm saying for the movie industry. The movie industry is gatekeeping. They're literally rent-seeking. Add more value to the consumer. That's how other industries that didn't corner a market and then completely monopolize every aspect of it, that's how they have to operate. That's all I'm asking for. Endgame never had a post-credit scene either. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I would just watch someone recorded video. I'm not buying 3 tickets, let alone 1. Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that there's a way for us all to enjoy it, regardless of going to the theater or not. Do you think putting Endgame back in theaters to clap back at Avatar after re-releasing? Yes, I think that's part of it, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Okay, let's see here. Gunn been taking shots at Feige. Do it. I agree with you. I actually agree with you. But I don't know. Man. Clap back? It's the same company? No, it's not. It's a division of the company. I mean, are they owned by the same company? Yes. I mean, they are kind of the same company. You know what? We got to give Adam this one. Yeah, you're telling me you don't have competition within the studios? We're talking about number 1, Adam. We're talking about number 1. You don't think Kevin wants number 1? You think he's just like, oh, Jimmy Cameron and the fucking blue people? We're good. No big deal. 2's not bad. Come on, man. I don't think there'll be 3 trailers. They'd much rather have 1 big trailer that makes records, biggest 24 hours. But brother, they can combine those 3 trailers and say they created the biggest opening marketing ever or some shit. Like, trust me, they can still spin it. At this point, I think Kevin wants nothing to do with movies ever again. I think he's going to set up the Mutant Saga and then probably fuck off forever. Yes, maybe. second place is the first loser. Exactly. See, this guy gets it. If you ain't first, you last, man. Son, I was high when I said that. You could be second, you could be third, fourth, hell, you could even be fifth. And then peace the fuck out. Yeah. And then he's going to start playing Warhammer with us. Then he's going to start playing Warhammer with us, you know? You have no idea what it's like to be number one. Tony Soprano. Yeah, number one therapy guy because of his fucking ducks. Josh, are you going to wait to watch the trailer live at the tower? You mean the Supergirl trailer or the Doomsday trailer? I guess we're going to have to find out how it's releasing. Supergirl, Clayface, and Battinson. What the heck are you doing, Gunn? Oh, it's called Destroying DC Movies. Any chance Feige replacing KK when he's done at Marvel? There were old rumors of that. If that happens in any way, shape, or form, it'll be more like he's an Alan Bergman kind of overall, the studios kind of a guy, and then he would work directly with Dave, which I think would be great. And they did kind of set that up at D23 maybe 2 years ago, maybe last year, where it was, they're actually talking about Fortnite. And they had like Kevin was there and Filoni were there, and they had good chemistry together. You know what I mean? Like that would work for me. I hope we will get a couple of trailers of each of the teams, maybe RDJ for the Super Bowl. I think Super Bowl is more Spider-Man. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking right now they want to set the table for Doomsday. And then I think you'll get some Spider-Man stuff. But I think Spider-Man ties pretty closely to Doomsday, which they're keeping very secretive right now. But I think it might become clear. Does Paramount keep Gunn? Hard to say. Gunn's contract is until mid-2027 right now, maybe spring 2027. I think they will have to honor those contracts. So meaning, I think he's there till 2027 either way, which some speculate is why he turned around Man of Tomorrow so quickly, because he sort of knew, like, let's get this out there. Look, I don't know. It kind of depends on, like, what does Gunn want to do? What do these studios want to do? We have a lot of indication that Paramount specifically wants to remake Hollywood, or like give, like, they want to become the Fox News of movie studios, which might sound a little icky to some of you. And frankly, like, Fox News, what the fuck? But if they could do stuff that was a little bit more on what they've described as the 70% of people in the middle. I mean, you guys know me. I like dude bro 80s coded content. You know what I mean? I want the chicks to be hot. I want the dudes to be jacked to the gills and competent as fuck, strong. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm sick of this shit. So for me, I'm like, Paramount represents a studio that I think will at least do some of that stuff, you know? It doesn't mean it's all going to be great, by the way, but like, yes, they're going to do that. And I think that's a good thing for Hollywood. But here's the thing. All the studios are going to fucking do that, to be honest. Like, it just feels like they're literally all going to do that. There's been some crazy reporting recently of how much they are cutting back on some of these agendas, so to speak. So I think that's going to happen either way. But Paramount would certainly represent, especially having DC, would represent a pretty interesting way to promote those concepts and ideas. You know, there was something broke by Bellany last week, which we discussed, which was that people at Paramount had already been meeting with talent about a DC project outside of the purview of Gunn and Safran. And as it stands right now, it feels like Gunn is more safe at Netflix, which is interesting. That's weird. I wouldn't have thought, but that appears to be what it is. Gunn is more secure at Netflix. Paramount, I think, will make changes. I don't think they're going to make any changes until after 2027. And the other thing that's kind of interesting about that is, like, either way you slice it, the performance of the movies this year and the performance of Man of Tomorrow are going to be either held up as an example of why to keep Gunn or why to get rid of him. In some ways, Gunn is a better fit for Netflix because he doesn't have to worry about box office anymore, which sounds cruel, but I'm actually being honest. Like, that would be a better fit for Gunn, I think. Is Feige the greatest executive producer of all time? Well, he might be the greatest producer of all time. Okay. So a line producer and an executive producer are technically different than a producer. And this is all goobly glob. but just make it producer. He produces the movies. And often he is the only producer credited. Not as much anymore. They have other, but it's usually like, in fact, for most of the Infinity Saga, one producer, Kevin. Everybody else is either a line producer or an executive producer. Josh, did you see the leak about the MCU universe being Prime Universe to defeat Doom in Doomsday? No, and I don't even know. I don't really know what you're meaning by that. Yeah. He has produced over 33 billion. Yes, he has. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think they should have released Supergirl first, then Superman. I think so too. Fire gun, keep the DCU, fold Reeves into it, make cool individual stories that connect somewhat. Yeah, so look, I think Netflix might, because Ted said something about like Penguin and shit. And so I kind of think like Ted Sarandos would be like, hey, Gunn, do your stuff in the movies, but we're going to do a ton more DC stuff. We're going to do a bunch of these really cool shows. They don't have to connect to your stuff. They can Elseworld it. But that's kind of my impression, is that like Gunn would stay, but they would expand. But we'll see. I mean, dude, I didn't think fucking Paramount would do a hostile takeover this morning. That's crazy. Honestly, keep Gunn as a director, but he doesn't need to be the Feige. I agree with that. I actually think Gunn is a really good filmmaker. His sensibilities don't align with my sensibilities, but he's a good filmmaker. Like, you kind of can't deny that. Like, the Guardians movies are great. The holiday special is fantastic. I liked Superman a lot, but he doesn't have... I mean, he's just not that guy. First of all, I don't think he has the actual, like, acumen to, like, put this stuff together. He certainly doesn't know how to whip up a fandom into actually being excited, all united. Like, I think he made the division worse, frankly. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff I think he does not excel at. And maybe Safran, because like we've heard some things where, so James has been in interviews before and he's been given certain questions and he'll literally say like, what would Peter want me to say here? And it seems like maybe there's some coaching and like some things going on. And I'll give Gunn credit here. He was asked about the MAGA stuff. He gave the perfect answer in a really important moment on the red carpet. But the problem is, I don't think he's done enough consistently to like make a bunch of chuds or dude bros like actually be like, yeah, no, he means that. It just was a good answer in the moment, right? So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Gunn's done some stuff that I've really admired. Like the way he stuck up for Pratt, I thought was so admirable, and he didn't need to do that. He's just kind of like goofy. He has like some sensibilities that I don't think work well on the executive side of things. And on top of that, his actual style it's just not my favorite. I don't fuck with it like that. But how is your stance on theater? So bring your own snacks, your own checks, and get culture to stay home and make Netflix more money? No, and you're very stupid. Josh, The Boys is what the DC wishes it could be. Well, in some regards, sure. I mean, The Boys is very successful. It's certainly built itself up very well. Iconic characters. This build up between these two, like, dude, this season has a lot of hype. So they've done really well. Josh, what if DC went full multiverse and brought the Snyderverse, James Gunn's universe, and other past variants into one movie or string of movies? I mean, I feel like the time to do that it's almost past. You know, like, I don't know. I don't think now's the moment. And I think, look, Marvel's kind of like been quiet about the multiverse shit. And I think that's because they know it's a bit of a fatigued concept for these people. There's a shit ton of multiverse in Doomsday, but they might kind of feel like that's like the last of it. Like that's the last juice we can really get out of this. And then Secret Wars isn't really multiversal as much. It's like Elseworld. So, Greg, what up? CB the Legend, thanks for the $5, says, never thought the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Avengers would be in one movie. My kid self would never believe that. I'm going to enjoy the ride to Doomsday and Secret Wars. Hell yeah, brother, I'm on the same way, or on the same page. This is crazy, and it's not just those characters. It's iconic actors that played these characters. Toby, Hugh, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen. Like, dude... the goats. Like one last ride. One last ride with the goats, baby. I hear they might start Avengers Doomsday where Endgame ended because of the big box office, but that movie was 7 years apart. Would it not be a good idea? Would it not be a good idea because of how long since Endgame? No, especially when you look at the reception of all the other stuff. I mean, Endgame is the biggest, second biggest movie of all time. Do you know that Endgame's opening weekend was over $1 billion? I don't know if people remember that. The global opening for Endgame was over $1 billion. And we've talked about this before, but the impressions, the social media impressions, the earned media impressions, the trailer impressions, guys, there's only a couple of things in the fucking world that were seen as much as Avengers Endgame. Like Minecraft comes to mind. So no, it's actually a brilliant idea to anchor your shit to the like one of the most, if not the most watched movie ever. And the difference between Avatar and Endgame is that Avatar made that much money, but didn't have the impact in culture. Endgame did. Thanos was right. Memes about Thanos. Like, I am Iron Man. Dude, it permeated culture in a way a million times. Yes, this is a good move, okay? I'm actually looking forward to seeing Maguire and Jackman together. Where do I sign up? Exactly. It's going to be incredible, dude. It's going to be absolutely incredible. To be honest, I think a lot of newer fans were not there for Endgame, and it's kind of crazy. No, that's actually not true. Statistically speaking, more fans were added before Endgame than any time period. So what really happened was a whole bunch of fans jumped on the bandwagon for Endgame. And the truth is, a lot of those bandwagon fans were the ones that were so slow to call out the bullshit. And they were just having such a good time that they were like, oh, dude, I think it's great that the Hawkeye show's actually about Kate Bishop and Yelena and Echo. Or, oh, I think it's great that Moon Knight leads to a place where this Red Scarab lady's the real hero saving the day. And that, you know, of course, the version of Moon Knight's a total idiot. Like, the fair weather fans and the bandwagon fans that came on for Endgame are kind of a part of the problem. No offense. Not all of them, but like, bro, nah. Like, you're trying to tell me that fucking Miss Marvel added more fans than Endgame? What? No. My God. You just be making shit up, bro? No, brother. Like, that's why I'm here and you're there. Like, you're just me, bro, fucking nobody 3393 in the chat. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm sorry. I've been here. I was there when they wrote the old lore. I watched it all go down. Dead ass. So, Johnny McNobody, do what Trev did and sit on your fucking hands, homie. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Josh, I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, there you go. See? Yes, unleash the old Josh. Josh never lies. Yeah. Ban him. No, we don't have to ban him. Although I might anyway. Your chat would yell at me when I mentioned MCU. Yes, to be fair, there were many. And by the way, they yelled at me too. They yelled at me too. I made a video. I should find this video. You guys got me hot today. I don't know what it is. You guys got me hot. I had an incredible weekend, dude. I had a fucking incredible weekend. Just chilling, not being live, just hanging out with my wife. It was incredible. Kids were at grandma's. And now y'all got me hot on a Monday morning. Oh, I'm a hot toddy. I'm a hot toddy in here. I should pull up a video for you, and maybe we will. Okay, maybe we will. I should pull up a video for you that I made a couple of years ago. And it's literally called, I think it's called, like, Marvel needs to get their balls back or something like that. And it's like, it's an incredible video. And I lost like 1,000 subscribers after I released it. Okay? Because there were many fans, and some are in here. There's this guy, Stormy. I'm not trying to talk shit on Stormy. Stormy knows this is true, so he would come in here and confirm this, okay? There were many fans of mine that as Phase 4 and 5 were, in my opinion, was turning into Goobly Glob, I would talk about it and they would get mad at me. Dead ass. Ask Adam. Adam's here in chat. The WandaVision finale, I tore it to shreds. And my own community was like, we've been having so much fun. How could you turn on it like this? This is fucked up. And then Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I shit on that show, especially its finale, so hard. Next one, I shit on it. The next one, actually the next one was Loki, so I didn't shit on it. But I'm telling you right now, I got my own community was turning on me, frankly, because I was just early. A lot of them came around. In fact, Stormy messaged me years later and said, I'm sorry. I was so mad at you about Eternals. You were right. I didn't see it then, but you were right. And the truth is there's this thing called confirmation bias, okay? Here's what it is. And this is going to sound egotistical, elitist, like I'm talking down. But what the fuck is new? There's a concept called confirmation bias. And here's the truth. We trick ourselves because we don't want to feel stupid. Okay? So if you spend a whole bunch of money on an online course, you're going to trick yourself into thinking you got something out of that online course because you couldn't be so stupid to get ripped off and buy an online course that taught you fuck all. People do this in all aspects of their life. But when it comes to entertainment, especially if you've made a big investment, you trick yourself into thinking it is not as bad as it is, because you couldn't be so stupid to be the person that's cheering the thing you used to love that's now been bastardized. Okay? That idea, which is really just like a psychological phenomenon, kept a lot of Marvel fans for years and years being in denial of what was happening. So they couldn't realize how bad it was. They didn't realize how fucked up everything was. And they were coping. Okay? Marvel fucked up so bad that even the copers years later were like, I am fucking over it. And this is why I turned off Marvel Zombies after one episode. Because I can't flip on Marvel and have it be the gals and enjoy myself. I can't. I won't. I don't even remember what the question was, but that's your fucking answer. Anyways, any other thoughts on the Doomsday trailer or any other the shit? Bro, I don't care who owns or directs DC. I just want more superhero content. Well, then you're going to probably be happy either way, buddy. It's not fair of you to not acknowledge the pandy and the strikes, bro. The pandy and the strikes were obviously a part of it. I will say that is fair. But there's a little bit of that energy there that's like Marvel didn't actually fuck it up. No, Marvel did fuck it up. Let's not get it twisted. Marvel fucked it up. Because the truth is, adversity is a thing. It's just a constant. You're always going to face adversity. Marvel faced some incredible adversity, and it is fair to point that out. But they also made a lot of stupid decisions. I think the most stupid one was just not canceled. They should have canceled a lot of shit. My opinion. Look, in some ways, this is a conversation that we don't even need to have because they're changing. You know what I mean? Like, they're changing, dude. It's not going to be like what it was. Okay? And I think it's going to be as popular as ever. And I think this whole conversation is like, maybe we'll get dragged back into it a lot over the years, but I don't think we even need, like, it's not that deep. They fucked up on multiple fronts at maybe the worst time possible. They recalibrated as things got more fucked up and then recalibrated again. And now they're finally, I think, past most of the bullshit with great, great content ahead of them. And they can actually produce and create these things outside of that environment in phase 4 and 5, which was very, very destructive to them. So it's going to be fine. And then, like, you look over at Star Wars, and you should feel really grateful as a Marvel fan, regardless of where you're at. Look over at Star Wars and count your lucky fucking stars, because they're about to make 16 Rey movies. Let's leave it there. Another 30 minutes? How is it possible to yap that much? That's crazy. Okay. Okay. Star Wars and Marvel are perfectly fine. 100% Rossi. Oh, Rossi! Good joke, bud. Ray could yap for 30 minutes. Yeah, fair. Do you think the slop we got throughout was a byproduct of political pressure and changed leadership paved the way to revamp Marvel's legacy values? I think, here, I'll say it like this. I'll say it a couple of different ways. I think that Marvel, after winning as they did, and after Ike Perlmutter was taken out of the picture, I do believe Kevin actually thought that it was incumbent upon him to bring others along for the party. Which, by the way, this is not a bad idea. To be completely fair, Stan Lee was incredibly woke, okay, especially for the time. Like, y'all might not realize this, but if you really study Stan Lee, he was so about representation. I mean, the dude created Black Panther, but on top of that, he created this whole book called Howling Commandos. And if you look into the story of why he created Howling Commandos, which, like, nowadays it doesn't seem super woke because it's like an Irish guy, an Italian guy, fucking go learn history. Like, dude, it was incredibly progressive for the time, okay? So Stan literally creates Howling Commandos because another executive had literally told him, like, oh, it's only just these popular characters you have. It has nothing to do with the writing. And, you know, you could never do this, this, and this. Stan decides to go create the wokest comic ever, Howling Commandos, and it's a huge fucking smash success. Now, to be fair, like, woke then and woke now are very different. And it's arguable that, you know, we've moved the pendulum or the field goal post so far that, you know, now Stan would be considered moderate or something. Like, all of that is fair, and I totally understand the nuance of the conversation. But let's just be real. Kevin absolutely did some shit in the same vein that Stan Lee did. And I think ultimately it was like, I have created this monumental, successful thing. I feel a responsibility to reach back. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. But what was wrong was all the people he hired to execute on that. And then what was wrong was him not having the cojones to tell the person that was a woke hire, hey, love what you're doing, but this is too far. And I've heard that the reason he didn't do that is because the social pressure of the time was so intense that he felt as though he would be painted in this horrible fucking light if he asserted the same control that he asserted in the Infinity Saga with these new progressive, you know, representative talent. That's the ultimate sin. Now, to be honest with you, there's a lot of other shit that went on, okay? It's a complicated situation, of course. But like, if you just want, like, the truth, like, yeah, of course. Like, he absolutely was doing it on purpose, and he felt the responsibility to do it. I don't think there's anything fucking wrong with that. But it got twisted up. It got twisted up because there are bad actors out there, man. There are bad actors out there. And I think Kevin hired a couple of them, honestly. But that's a lot of speculation, you know? Art is inherently anti-establishment, so Disney, being devoid of the real creatives, created this corporate decision that is trying to uphold the values they thought were important. Ligur bus. I mean, there's some truth there. Yeah, there's some truth there. Josh, you said Marvel at one point thought they could do anything. What exactly did you hear that Marvel was considering? Oh, dude, I mean, yeah, they thought they could do anything. And I think She-Hulk is probably the best example of that, yeah. Bad actors on all sides, though, got to cut through. Yeah, of course, but still, it's easy to cut through when you're actually working off of, like, a principled, reasoned, like, agenda. Like, it is more challenging. And then the other thing was, I think the truth is Kevin was just way hands off. Like, he was just super hands off. He was focusing on all this sort of stuff and, like, let them cook or whatever. Yeah. Kevin already said they tried the MCU and it didn't work. Y'all should get over it when they're releasing it. Yeah, I mean, that's a rumor. We don't know that he actually said that. Chris Gore reported that essentially that was what he heard Kevin said, yeah. I've heard similar things, but we should be very clear. Like, we don't know he said that. We don't know what he said. All right. Couple other things I want to get into here today. I mean, I got some other stuff, like... Can we talk a little bit about the boys and Invincible and Daredevil Suborns again there? Can we talk about that? Would that be agreeable? I mean, there's no necessarily Invincible news, but it is exciting that that is going to be coming out in March, April time. Oh, thanks. You like the shirt? I forget where I got this one. I think my wife got this one for me. I Don't Like Sand says, I'm hearing Endgame release will show an exclusive Doomsday scene or trailer during the end credits. Well, that's exciting. I haven't heard anything about that, but I mean, we speculated about that already. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. It's time to talk about title card. Indeed. I still await. Oh, I Patty Poop. I'd love to, brother. It's just there's so much going on. I have that Marvel Cosmic Invasion game. I've only beaten like 6 levels on it. Playing a lot of Arc Raiders. Dude, I rage on Arc Raiders solo. Oh, I get so mad. I'd love to play Dispatch. Maybe over the holidays. We'll see. Did this really happen? Paramount outbidding? Yeah. We're sort of past that point, Noisy. But you can go back and look at it. And I'll tell you what, I will throw a link in here to a tweet from Luis Fernando that is covering it so that you can go on a little research adventure if you'd like to. But it is real, brother. We don't know what's going to happen, but yeah. You rage at shooting games? That's crazy. Yeah. I'm actually, I'm doing good in the game, dude. Dude, Justin, I did the rattiest thing the other day, and I was having so much fun. So I go to Blue Gate, which is like a big open map. It's kind of like in a big canyon. And there's a couple of great spots, and I'll sit there with a sniper and a silencer, and I just watch. And as the arc goes like yellow or red to like that there's a player around, I find them, and I just ruin people's day, dude. I love it. It's the rattiest shit, but I love it, dude. It's awesome. Yan Marab fight was beyond incredible. It was one of the best fights I've ever seen. Yeah. Okay. What are we talking about here? Oh, yeah. So, 2026 may be one of the biggest years ever for the comic book genre as far as adaptations are concerned. And it seems like the beginning of the year is going to go off with a bang. Now, to be honest with you, Wonder Man comes out, I think, mid-January or early January, and all of the episodes are bingeable, which means it's very easy to skip. So I have kind of just cut that out of my memory. Maybe there'll be some cool stuff there. I'll watch other YouTubers talk about it, and maybe we'll talk about it on stream, but I ain't watching that show, okay? However, a couple of months after that, we're going to get not 1, not 2, but 3 incredibly anticipated seasons of comic book adaptations. And so Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Invincible Season 4, and The Boys Season 5 will all release new episodes during the same time. I got a little article pulled up here. We'll read through this a little bit, and then I'll give you a little bit more, okay? So, this is over on Screen Rant by Tom Russell. 2026 is shaping up to be a huge one for fans of superheroes. While blockbuster films like Avengers Doomsday, Spider-Man Brand New Day, and draw attention in theaters, some of the most thrilling cape and cowl action will arrive on the small screen instead. For many fans, the most exciting moment will happen at home. You don't say. Over the past decade, superhero media has exploded on television. Studios like Disney, HBO, and Amazon Prime have leaned into the superhero fandom boom like never before, with almost every platform and studio counting at least one superhero project among its flagship titles. Because of this, the stars have aligned for superhero fans to enjoy one of the most memorable Aprils of the last 10 years once 2026 arrives. 3 of the most popular superhero shows around are getting new episodes throughout the month, instantly making it an undisputed highlight of 2026. Fans of the Daredevil, Born Again, Invincible, and The Boys can brace for a nonstop onslaught of superhero drama in April of 2026. Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is scheduled to premiere on March 4th, 2026 on Disney+, with new episodes following weekly through March and into April. Meanwhile, Invincible Season 4 is expected to arrive on Prime Video sometime in March or April 2026. Then, on April 8th, 2026, The Boys Season 5 lands with its first 2 episodes and then a weekly drop schedule for the remaining 6. That means throughout April, viewers could see new episodes of all 3 of the high-profile superhero shows, a rare convergence of quality storytelling across multiple platforms. For fans who follow more than one of these shows, it could feel like superhero overload in the best possible way. Okay, so that's kind of the baseline news here, and all 3 of these shows did have a little bit of stuff announced over the weekend at CCXP. Invincible, I think, is holding back the most. They had some updates throughout the course of this year, though, and they obviously have that big video game that I think is going to be coming out around that same time, so that'll kind of be a big boon for the show. So let's talk about these shows. Let's talk about the performances of their prior seasons, and let's talk about what we expect for them. So first of all, let's talk about The Boys. The Boys had a trailer over the weekend. Fantastic trailer, man. I can't play it here because, unfortunately, Amazon is terrible at this copyright bullshit, which, by the way, y'all really need to get that figured out before the Henry Cavill Warhammer stuff, because what the fuck? Please figure that out. But they're pretty bad with that, so we're not going to break it down here. But it's an incredible trailer. Cut to that Hangman song, building up the boys, one last fight, this war that's coming, trying to stop Homelander. It's a great trailer, man. And it really is building up a conflict between Homelander and Butcher, which is different than what was in the comics. Obviously, I think they're going a different way than they did in the comics. The Black Noir thing is already not what it was. Now, The Boys, it's kind of an interesting thing. The Boys does well in viewership, although the new season of University V, or whatever the hell that show was, that show was like in Nielsen's top 10 and then dropped out. So I don't know if it was just like a quality thing, or people are just kind of down on it, or maybe it just got an initial bump as some were catching up, and then I think they did 2 or 3 episodes for their premiere, but then it eventually falls out of the Nielsen top 10 chart. But credit where credit is due, the spin-off to The Boys was able to chart. Daredevil never charted once. Okay, so credit where credit is due. There has been somewhat of a wait, from the last season into this season. I don't think it's House of the Dragon level, or, between season 1 and 2 of Invincible, but that might hurt the show a bit. There is also obviously a lot of political stuff being put into the show. And, frankly, they're just taking a lot of shots at Trump, which you would imagine would hurt the viewership. But the truth is, last season, which 2 years ago, did incredible numbers. So I would expect The Boys to come out the gate strong. I think it's going to chart. It could chart the whole way. It could chart and fall out and then come back in. But with 5 seasons, I'm kind of expecting this thing to just chart the whole way through. And as far as the content of the show, I'm excited. I'll do a little preview thing as we get a little closer. I'm not saying we're going to do watch parties, but we will certainly break down the episodes as they come out, either here on stream or videos on the main channel, or probably on stream, and then we put them out as clips. And I think it's gonna be great. The big question will be, how's the build-up, the payoff? There's exciting stuff like Jensen Ackles is joining the show. So if you're a big fan of Supernatural, we're getting Sam and Dean, and I've heard Castiel as well, although he's not been officially confirmed at all. So love those guys. That's gonna be really fun. I'm a fan of the show. I'm excited. Let's talk about Invincible. Invincible, interesting. Invincible's had a lot of ups and downs. There's obviously been, some delays. I thought season 2 was fucking ridiculous because it was super delayed, and then they split the 4 episodes by 6 months. Holy shit. Oh yeah, that's Jared Padalecki. Yeah, sorry. Jensen is the other guy. However, the last season of Invincible was a step up from season 2 and sort of a return to form. It felt a lot tighter. It just was great. The action in the last 2 episodes are incredible. The last 2 episodes of Invincible chart on Nielsen, unless I am mistaken. That is absolutely incredible for an animated adaptation. Invincible has motion. They're doing new comic books for Battle Beast. They are crushing it. This video game is very popular. Whether it's Kirkman himself or others, this thing has a lot of brand ambassadors that are great. Invincible's doing very, very well. And I think the way that this last season ended And the tease at the end, because they do something that like I just thought was so cool. They had the Damien Darkblood scene at the end of last season. That is not in the comics. And what Kirkman explained was that it was an aspect, it was a side story. It was something that he wanted to do that he never had put into the comics. And so now it's going to be in there. And the reason that's so cool is because it allows fans that have read the comics to still look forward to something that they've never seen before. What a good fucking idea. Now, that was already sort of the case because they've made a lot of changes from the comics. Some of them I like, some of them I don't. But yes, they've made a lot of changes to that. I think Invincible Season 4 is primed to do very well. I think it's going to chart either all the way through or maybe a dip in and come back towards the end. But I would expect this to be an absolutely incredible season for Invincible. Daredevil bored again. Season 2. This is the biggest question mark for me of this whole group here. Daredevil bored again, Season 1. I thought was one of the biggest fuck-ups Marvel Studios ever did. Not just because it was bad, but because they oversold the course correction, the changes to the show, and ultimately it basically just was the old version of the show with a little bit of stuff added. It was terrible. He gets lectured the entire time. It is weird. He is barely in the suit. The action was not good enough. I could not stand Daredevil bored again. And yet, as that season was coming out, the set photos for Season 2 were leaking, probably on purpose, because Kevin is that guy and he's really smart. So those set photos were telling a completely different story. Not only does my man got the double Ds, but you've got Bullseye in like classic looking Bullseye costume. It seems to be going absolutely nuts. Ninjas out the wazoo. Karen is the sidekick again. Foggy might return. Holy crap. So it was a kind of a weird experience to like go through Season 1 of Bored Again, while also knowing that, like, yeah, Season 2 is probably going to be lit. And then to be fair to this first season, it does end in a way that does excite me for Season 2. Okay? So they somehow figured out how to get to an endpoint that actually sets stuff up, that's actually interesting, and I am interested. Now, as a big Marvel fan, right, I think the thing I'm looking for here is, like, basically what they had kind of said Season 1 was going to be. I want a true new show. I want it to feel like the old one. I want Daredevil to be kicking ass. I want a lot of violence. I don't want him to be lectured by his fucking psychologist girlfriend ever again. So I'm hopeful. And I feel like Daredevil might just be another one of these things from Marvel that's like, look, you know what the truth was? They wanted to change it all, but they couldn't justify throwing out everything that was already in the pipeline. And there was way too much shit in the pipeline. Way too much. So like a lot of other things, I think we're past a lot of the bullshit. And I'm really looking forward to this being what we really wanted from Season 1. And by the way, if you're a person that liked Season 1, I think you're still going to like Season 2. And I think you're just going to have a good time the whole way through. If this season can be as good as I think it could be, then I do expect it would get to Nielsen's charts, although it's going to have a real hard time as compared to these other shows because they have more seasons, they have longer run times generally, and I think they have a warmer reception. I think people are still fatigued. I think Disney Plus shows still have a stink on them. So it's kind of going to be really interesting to see, how does this show do? How many people will show up? Is this the beginning of a turnaround here? And if we can get to charting by the end of it, then I think everybody involved is going to feel really good. And there's like some indication that they're doing Season 3 either way, which I would be into so long as Season 2 is actually fixed. Not like you tried to sell us on it was fixed, but it's actually fixed. So a lot of questions will be answered. Marvel literally going into competition with two other superhero projects that are arguably doing it better. And I like that. And maybe they've got a chip on their shoulder, and maybe they can actually do some shit that's really, really crazy. And maybe they can win a lot of fans back. At this point, every piece of Marvel content should be looked at as an opportunity to right the ship and to bring in more fans. And I'm hoping that's what they're doing with Daredevil. So that's kind of the thing that a lot of this stuff was announced at CCXP and other Comic-Cons over the past couple of days. It's an exciting time. A lot of juicy stuff coming out in that time period. Guys, what do you think about this? And also, which one of these shows do you think is going to perform the best out of all of them? Because they are literally in competition on the charts for at least several of their episodes. So what do you make of that? Let me know. Chillin says, just got back from colonoscopy. Thankfully, no issues were discovered. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Anomalies Basement Crew. Nerd Adventures for Life. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, I'm glad you're doing well. The stuff about crony capitalism resonates. I believe it ties back to the fatal flaw, inflation. Why should saving money mean losing value? Saving should be a positive thing. Yeah, so look, inflation is actually a value creating mechanism in the economy. Without inflation, stock prices actually like wouldn't go up the way that they go. But so I don't know that I perfectly agree with you on that. Inflation is an invisible tax, and I think the truth is there's been ways to sort of fudge the numbers that are hurting the consumer that's not exactly showing up in a super clear way. And one of them is inflation. But that's more about like quantitative easing, quantitative tightening, and the Fed, you know, all that kind of bullshit. But yes, that is fair. But like what I'm kind of saying is like it's literally like rules for thee and not for me. Normal people are facing basically a completely different economy than people that have wealth in the top 5, top 3, top 1%. It is literally different rules. It is different opportunities. Like, do you know what high frequency trading is? Like, I don't want to go down this like whole thing because it's like, it's actually crazy. But the free market is closed for you at 4:30. And billionaires have access to it all the time. Fun fact, TMNT's creator, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, were big Frank Miller Daredevil fans, and they drew heavily off of Miller's run in Daredevil to make TMNT story. Yeah, of course. I mean, the foot, the hand, it's there. And in fact, there's an Easter egg, guys, and I don't know that you knew this. You probably know this, L. Turner. In the TMNT comics, the accident that Daredevil has is how the radioactive sludge gets down into the sewer. Kidneys. Not comic book, but Euphoria is also releasing in April, and that'll be a massive show in terms of Nielsen top 10. You think so? You think so? I don't know that I agree. I mean, I know it was popping before. I don't know. I don't know about that shit. We'll see. This is why Daredevil needs to be a movie. You can't do the hand justice on TV. Well, we'll see. I think you can. You just got to spend the money or, you know, do it the right way. Yes, but the vast majority of millionaires built their wealth from nothing. We can all do it with the right financial education and determination. Look, I'm a go-getter, and I absolutely believe that you can find a way out. But I legit think the system is built to make that as difficult as possible. And there's levels to it. There's layers to it for sure. Yeah. U.S. director can tell your company investors you need $600 million to make the movie and only cost $400 million and just pocket the other $2. I mean, it's something like that. It's not exactly like that, but yeah. I don't like people who think they need millions. Okay. If you invested in gold and silver, you just won. I mean, I have a lot of silver. You know who's got a lot of gold? Russia. They got a lot of gold, man. A lot of gold. Man, you guys are so interested in all of this other stuff that I don't really want to talk about. I think about it. I know about it. I agree with you, but our education system is the biggest part of the system that sets us up to fail. I would agree with that, yeah. I think education is pretty shitty in this country. Yes, we're getting into some dangerous territory. Better just stick to the superheroes, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, that's enough about all that. Look, April's going to be lit, dude. Which one? Hey, real quick, before we end the segment, who wins? Who charts more? Who gets more minutes? Who gets more million minutes watched out of these three? Who is it? Is it The Boys? Is it Daredevil? Is it Invincible? What do you think? The boys. I bet on Invincible. The boys. A lot of, I think it's the boys too. I think you guys are, I agree. 5 seasons. You're right. Yeah. I would say so. Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out together. All right. You ready to talk some Warhammer, chat? Y'all ready to talk some Warhammer? Let's talk some Warhammer. Then we'll talk some Valyria Richards. Then we'll talk Spider Noir. And then we'll get out of here. Big stream today. W's in the chat. We got a big stream today. No stream tomorrow. Don't cry about it. Where's all the W's? What happened? Okay. Okay. Let's talk Warhammer. Okay. So, here we go. Chat is not ready to talk Warhammer. Well, you better get ready, Mandalore. Okay. Here we go. So, Warhammer. Henry Cavill show. It's the future, and everybody knows it. But the question is, like, where is it? When is it happening? We haven't heard anything. I mean, at this point, it's been years since Cavill was fired by James Gunn and then revealed his plans to do the big Warhammer Cinematic Universe. Last year, official documentation from Games Workshop came out to explain that they had reached a deal with Amazon and they were basically going to have to go dark. Some of their financial reports this year, because Games Workshop is a publicly traded company that owns Warhammer, they have basically said it's a long-term arrangement. I'm thinking 5 to 10 years. And they literally can't talk about it anymore until something comes up. So that was kind of the last official reporting from the financial reports of what was going on. There have been some rumors. Like, we know that they've been working on logos and working on the scripts. Cavill himself, in interviews, has spoken to how they're having a bit of trouble cracking the scripts. And that's because Warhammer is incredibly complicated. And it's a really hard universe or IP to make digestible to the normies. Like, it's crazy, dude. Like, there's stuff in Warhammer. Like, there's a lot of fucked up shit in Warhammer, okay? And so it's all about, like, how do we make this digestible while also staying true to the core, which Cavill has talked a lot about. Now, within the last couple of months, there have been a couple interesting rumors that popped up. Number one, there was indication that Brad Pitt was being looked at by Henry Cavill. And in fact, they had a meeting to discuss a big role in the Warhammer Cinematic Universe. And on top of that, there's some indication that we know the era of what time period would they cover in this show. So there's like 30K, which is like the Golden Age and the Emperor and the Crusade. And then there's 40K, 10,000 years later, the Emperor put on the Golden Throne. Everything's decayed into this rotting from the inside, super authoritarian state. Well, it seems as though the time period for the first show will be the Scouring. The Scouring is a time period directly following the Civil War and the Emperor himself being put onto the Golden Throne. Okay? And I think the reason they want to do this, number one, is for brand synergy. They're about to do this massive series of books, which is going to explore that time period in depth for the first time ever. So you can see the brand synergy there. There was also a symbol, which is an Imperial Aquila, which has one side of it rotting. This symbol was shown for the first time by Henry Cavill on an official post. It was later seen on a collector's version of a novel, which goes into the Scouring. Okay, so that's kind of why people think Scouring. Okay, now, a couple of things I want to talk to you about. Valrak, Chapter Master Valrak, really good content creator over at Warhammer, has incredible sources. Valrak and I talk a lot in the DMs because I've got some sources, he's got some sources, and often they are saying the same thing, and it is pretty wild. So we've talked about a lot of exciting stuff in the DMs, and Valrak hit me up this morning. He put a video out about this. I shared it in the Discord that he's hearing first official Henry Cavill Warhammer show announcements possibly coming this Thursday. Now, this Thursday, Games Workshop has a big reveal show, which is going to be happening at like midnight his time, Thursday night. I think it would be like 6 or 7 or maybe 9 p.m. for us Thursday night. Okay. And so that's the current rumor, that we would get some form of announcement from Henry Cavill as far as what the show is actually going to be. Okay. So I'm hearing that's possible. I haven't got a hard confirmation. I'm reaching out to more people. In fact, people might have hit me up already. But I'm going to be keeping an eye out on Thursday for the first official announcements. Now, it's the Game Awards. Okay, yeah, Game Awards at 8 p.m. Now, why might this be happening with the Game Awards? I think it all has to do with the new Dawn of War game. Yes, let me explain. I think it all has to do with this new Dawn of War game. And this Dawn of War game just had a trailer reveal last week, which showed the Lion, the Primarch of the Dark Angels, Total War. Like I said, what did I say? Dawn of War? Total War. We're a professional channel over here. Total War, as I've been saying since the beginning, is a new Warhammer game, pretty high profile game. And it just announced that not only are the Dark Angels a playable faction, but Lion L. Johnson, the Primarch of the Dark Angels, is going to be playable in this game as well. Now, you got to start, you really got to start to understand why this is happening. Okay? Oh, it is Dawn of War? God damn it, Adam. Okay. It's Adam's fault. Everybody yell at Adam in the chat. Like I said, Dawn of War. It's a game that has war in the title. It's a Warhammer game. I should probably just look it up on Twitter right now so that we know for sure, but shut your mouth. Here's the point. Warhammer is doing something here that Star Wars used to be able to do, Marvel used to be able to do a lot more, and it's called brand synergy. And what I mean is they are recognizing the sort of pillars of content that they have, and they are finding cool ways to make that connection between these things very cohesive and feel as though there's this synergy that just makes it feel like there's this really cool plan that's coming, okay? Now, recently, they announced an event called the 500 Worlds, okay? 500 Worlds is taking the Space Marine 2 character, Space Marine 2 characters, mostly Titus, making him chapter master in the Ultramarines chapter of one of them. I think he's of the first. And he now, by orders of Lord Gilliman, who's a returned Primarch, these are the demigod sons of the Emperor. Just take my hand and follow me on this, okay? This 500 Worlds thing is taking those really popular characters that were in the Space Marine game, but also were in the Amazon Secret Level episode, and they are now main players in an event where they're trying to win back Ultramar. Okay, you got it? Now, let's go back to Total War, Dawn of War, whatever the fuck it's called. This game is taking place on a planet that is technically on the edge of the 500 Worlds of Ultramar. I don't know if it's considered one of the Worlds of Ultramar or not, but it's literally right on the edge of it, okay? The galaxy of Warhammer is split by a giant rift. Up until recently, the Lion, who's like an Avenger, basically, like if you're a Marvel fan, just think of an Avenger. The Lion was on the opposite side of the galactic split as Gilliman. This planet that's in the Dawn of War game, or Total War game, Adam's got me really fucked up, so I can't remember which one it is. That planet is on the edge of the 500 Worlds, and systems within that planet actually exist on the other side of Sanctum Secundus. So where am I going with this? Dawn of War, thank you. Where am I going with this? Warhammer is setting up a series of stories which will set up the meeting between Lionel Johnson and Robute Gilliman. Okay? These characters are about to meet, and I believe the Lion will now become a part, maybe with the Blood Ravens, of the campaign to thwart whatever's going on in the 500 Worlds, and that's going to create like a whole thing. Okay? However, what does this have to do with Henry Cavill's show? Well, in the Scouring, you have Robute Gilliman and the Lion, okay? And so what I think they're trying to do here, this is some speculation, okay? But what I think they're trying to do is they're going to have Cavill's show, if it indeed is in the Scouring, it will set up the groundwork of the conflict between the Lion and Gilliman, and honestly, a lot of the Primarchs in Gilliman, because Gilliman was like kind of a nerd, and he wanted everybody to change. He wanted to break up the Legion so they weren't as powerful. He invents the Codex Astartes, all of this sort of stuff. This time period of the Scouring is a very political time, but it is also a time where the Lion, like, dies. Like, he has his own thing on Caliban and fucking dies, and then he's resurrected 10,000 years. Robute Gilliman dies during the Scouring as well and comes back later on. So if you can just think about the synergy of what they're building, they are building a story in 40K that will directly play off of events that take place in the Scouring. And so I think what they're doing is Cavill's show is going to sort of lay the groundwork of a lot of those things. And then Warhammer, the game, the hobby, is going to play off of those things in its current lore to, like, give you sort of a payoff of that, an understanding of that, right? And Dorn dies as well, although Dorn is probably not dead. He's just missing a hand. So that's kind of the speculation. Like, I've been thinking a lot about this, man. There's a lot going on with Warhammer, and it's like you can see how the company is doing a lot of planning and a lot of synergistic stuff. I don't think it's an accident that they're about to explore the Scouring in novel form extensively, while also potentially using that work to adapt for the show, while also then taking key characters from that time period and creating content in the present with them to kind of have a payoff, right? So that's kind of the latest, and I don't know how many people have, like, started to actually, like, put this together. There are a lot of hints. I mean, basically bringing the Lion back just in general was a big hint, of course, but I think 500 Worlds, the building here in this game, because, like, look, Games Workshop realizes that Space Marine 2 was a massive boon to them, and what happened with Amazon and the synergy between that game and that animation was a huge boon for them. That's why they're utilizing those characters in the 500 Worlds thing and really pushing that. And the Lion himself coming back and being at odds with Gilliman is just such an interesting story in the present, something that a lot of fans want. So yeah, they're doing it. They're doing it. And it's just, again, you look at the synergy there, and this is kind of what I'm predicting. But with all that being said, this Thursday, strong possibility of our first actual information about what the Henry Cavill show is. And so I will be looking out for that. I'll probably be on Valrak's stream in chat, talking a bunch of shit, throwing tomatoes at him, and waiting for the reveal. And if it doesn't happen, we will blame him because he started this rumor, and we'll throw a lot of tomatoes at him. But if it does happen, then holy shit, we're off to the fucking races here. There's more stuff that I know about the Warhammer stuff that I can't say, but if it gets revealed publicly, I can speak more to it. Yeah, that's basically it. So any comments, any questions about that? Warhammer fans, where are you at? How you feeling about this shit? Did what I say make sense? Can you kind of see the synergy and how this is being built? Hey, get those tomatoes out of here, Trev. You're throwing tomatoes at me? Warhammer show will be redemption of Rings of Power. Oh, yeah, I think so, too. I think so, too. What do you want the drama between the Lion and Gilliman to be? So, I think the drama should be because the High Lords of Terra and maybe some of the other people in the Imperium, like the Custodes, they might actually want Gilliman to lead. Or rather, the Lion. I don't think everybody's super pumped with Robot Gorilla Man's plans and what he's trying to do. You know what I mean? So that could be quite interesting. You know, there could be some kind of conflict as to what is the actual threat. What should the Imperium actually be doing? And there could be a conflict there. You know, I think the ultimate thing between Gilliman and the Lion is like, the Lion was a better general, but Gilliman was a better leader. You know what I mean? And you just kind of have to ask yourself, like, what better serves the people of the Imperium? You know? But yeah, I think it would be more interesting if the conflict was that people were trying to get the Lion to lead and stuff like that. And also, the other thing is the Lion's changed a lot. Gilliman's changed, but like not as much as the Lion. The Lion literally aged 10,000 years, so he looks way older than he did before. He also has like weird new mysterious powers. He can sense chaos. He can basically enter the warp and teleport around anywhere. He has access to a place where the Emperor hid weapons, and he has the Emperor's shield. Yeah. You're throwing potatoes? Oh my God. You watched the new Space King? Pretty funny. I have not actually yet, no. Josh, when are you getting Cavill on stream? I mean, that would be a dream. I don't see it happening. But it would be a dream. And honestly, I'd rather just fucking play some Warhammer with Henry. Like, dead ass. Like, I would love to just play a game with Henry. My Custodes versus his Custodes. Blood games. Blood games, baby. Justin says, when he talks about Warhammer, it's so great. The time flies. I'm so interested in it. Justin, that's awesome to hear, bud. I'm glad you're turning around on it. Ordered some stuff from Major Minis. I have some Major Minis. I actually have his version of the Emperor, which I've never painted up or whatever. But yeah, I've built some of them. Space King 4 is pretty dope. Is it dope? Nice. Dreamlight. Oh, you know what? I'm so glad you said this, Scott. One more thing. Let me add one more thing to this. So Zack Snyder recently been posting on the Instagrams a lot, okay? Y'all know it. I know it. He's been posting on the Instagrams, okay? Recently posted Henry, and he literally said, let me pull it up. Here's to many more stories to come. I believe is what he said. Here's to many more stories together. Okay. So a lot of people were like, Snyderverse, you know what I mean? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But what about Warhammer? Oh my God. If Zach and Henry got together on this Warhammer shit, and the other thing is like, so there has been a little bit of like tension between Zach and Netflix. And a lot of us were like, what is the deal here? Like, is it all about Rebel Moon? It feels like that couldn't be what it is. Cause like Rebel Moon still did big numbers, but maybe disappointing. What could be going on? Maybe it's this. Maybe Zach starts to get recruited. You know, they don't like Henry. I mean, I know they don't like Henry. I know some shit about that. So, I don't know. I mean, if I were Henry, I would think about this because I think it's a great idea. I think Zach still has his hardcore fans. I think Rebel Moon was like low-key stealing a bunch of shit from Warhammer anyway. So like Zach's already kind of there in a mind state. I think it could be a really good fit, man. I think it could be a really good fit. Now, I don't know if that would be for the show or for some of the movies because they want to do both. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting that that's happening at a time when we might get some announcements here. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Adam. What do we know about the adaptation, right? Because you're saying Chris Wraith, you know, Zach can't write for shit. I would say that Zach's original storytelling is far less good than his adaptation. To me, Zach's always been brilliant when he's adapting things, because he's so good in his visual language that he can take a concept that works in a 2D image and add time and space and, you know, cinematic things that feel congruent with what was being told on the page. Like, he's really good at adaptation. So what I'm getting at is, we know that the Warhammer Cinematic Universe is going to strictly adapt lore. There might be some places where maybe the lore isn't specific and the show fills it out or a movie fills it out. But, like, this is not Star Wars to the EU. Like, this is Warhammer. They want it to be absolutely congruent with the lore from Black Library. That's a really important part of this. So basically, like, Zach would be adapting, and I think he's very strong in adapting. Zach handling pre-existing lore won't be an issue. His stylistic flair would work so well. I agree. Make an invitation video to play him. Cavill seems like the type of guy to oblige, especially for a fellow Warhammer fan. Dude, he's so fucking busy, bro. He's a parent, he's a producer, he's an actor, he's building the cinematic universe. He's incredibly busy. Maybe someday. I mean, if my Warhammer content starts popping off or whatever, and then he takes notice of it, maybe that could be a route. I mean, I wonder if he ever saw that video that I did that had like 1.3 million views about Warhammer lore. I don't know. It's not exactly, it's targeting beginners, so maybe not, but... Do you think Warhammer lore is better than Elden Ring? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Elden Ring lore is cool. It's based off of, like, a vague model that George R.R. Martin comes up with, and then it's, like, filled out a little bit, and there's cool stuff to it. Like, there's actually, like, a lot of fun stuff in there, but the Warhammer lore is just so much more dense. It's so much more expanded, and the people that write those books, like, take it very, very seriously. So you're talking about, like, 600 novels, 3,000 short stories, multiple versions of codexes. Any hint on the next Warhammer vid? Well, the one I'm working on the one that's explaining Warhammer through Marvel Comics terms. And honestly, I want to get it out this week, but I've been so busy. I've been so busy, guys. I'm sorry. All right, so that's our update on Warhammer. Woo! I'm glad we're all excited about it. Hell yeah. What level of knowledge would you say you have in regard to Warhammer? More than most out that know about it, or average? I mean, it's hard to say, dude. Warhammer's so crazy because, so like, for instance, like, I know a lot of shit, but like when it comes to chaos, I don't know a ton because, like, I'm not a chaos fan. I haven't read a lot of the chaos novels. So there's like a lot of stuff there that I don't know about. And you'll find that in the community as well. There's people that are like, oh, I'm a Space Marine lore expert. You know what I mean? Or there's like, I'm a Necron lore expert, you know, or et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know. I would say like above average within the fandom, but certainly not as crazy as some. He's nursing a bum leg, isn't he? Yeah, I think he had an injury on the set of Highlander, yeah. Yeah, like, I know a lot about the Necrons, but don't know shit about the Eldari. Yeah, it's, but that's part of what makes it fun. Yeah, exactly, Adam, 100%. Adam probably knows more about orcs than I do, 100%. Oh, yeah? Age of Sigmar seems cool. I'm not like huge into it. I'd like to get into it a little bit more. Like, it seems fun. But yeah, I'm more of a 40K guy. I like 30K, but I'm more of a 40K guy. Do they make Warhammer comics? The books are huge. They do. There's an incredible 4-issue Death Company, Death Watch story that Dembski Bowden wrote, Aaron Dembski Bowden, who's an incredible writer as well. The problem with the Warhammer comics is they're so rare that, like, to get those 4 issues physically is like $600. There are ways to find it digitally, right? But yeah, the physical copies of those are very rare. Yeah, I mean, I've read more Warhammer books than I've read Star Wars books. I've read so many Warhammer books. Like, And I feel like I'm barely scratching the surface. Incredible books, though. Like, really. Not all of them. Like, some of them are like, but really, like, dude, I read the Eisenhorn series. Fucking incredible, dude. End in the Death. Incredible. Lion, Son of the Forest. Incredible. Constant, or Valdor novel. Absolutely incredible. What else did I really like? Honestly, I read the first Tau book for Farsight. It's pretty good. It's actually pretty good. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Yeah. The Lehman Russ Primarch novel is fucking phenomenal too. Yep. Good stuff, man. The Desolation of Baal. There's so many good ones. There's a lot on my list to read, 100%. Is it the reading that scares you, Justin? Uh-oh. Start a Warhammer read-along stream? It would be awesome, yeah. Need a start guide? So they have a start guide. You know, Warhammer's done their best to try to make sense of a start guide. I actually think the best way to do it, because some of these novels, like so I read Lion, Son of the Forest a year and a half ago, like when it first came out, but I literally reread it recently after just knowing so much more about the lore, and I was able to enjoy it so much more. I didn't fully appreciate Zahariel until I knew more about the Dark Angels, just in general, right? So that's kind of a thing too. I like to go back and reread them and be like, oh, I understand so much more of this now. And in that sense, I do think a lot of the lore on YouTube is very valuable because you can just get a lot there. You can just get a lot more of like the little pieces by watching the videos, but the stories are great. Paint drying when you read Warhammer. Oh, that's a great way to do it, Justin. You literally put a coat of paint on your minis and then you read some while it's either drying or curing. Depends on if you're using acrylics or oils. But yeah, that's a great way to do it. Would you have to read or play anything before playing Warhammer 20,000, or could I just start it? You mean like the game? Well, the game itself is like very complicated, dude. Yeah. Hey, we only lost 50 viewers. Let's go! We only lost 50 viewers when we're talking about Warhammer. Let's fucking go. Ah! Yeah, 40,000. It's all good, man. Create a Warhammer book club? Maybe, man. I've thought about that. Okay. One last story today, and then we're going to call it. I'll hang out a little bit in the chat, but then we're going to call it, man. One last story. So let's file this under rumor for sure, but there's some evidence here. We'll talk about it, but check this out, guys. Pretty crazy here. 12,000 likes, 311,000 views here from December 6th. It says, rumor, Stranger Things 5-star Nell Fisher is reportedly playing Reed and Sue's daughter, Valyria, in the sequel of Fantastic Four. Okay, so couple of different things going on here. You might say, oh, what the hell? What the hell is even that? She's not in the movie. What the hell? Well, let me explain. There is some evidence that Valyria will be brought in, not in Doomsday, but in Secret Wars, okay? There's actually concept art. I wonder if I can find it. I'll look briefly here. There is concept art that shows God Emperor Doom on the throne, standing next to Sue, and you can see Franklin, and yet there's another small child next to Doom. And here it is right here. And it really does seem as though that could be Valyria. Okay, so I gotta zoom way in on this. Let me show you here, because some of you haven't seen this, and this might blow your mind. It's right here. So you have Reed Richards is in the foreground, so you can see his head, right? Then there's Dr. Stephen Strange as the sheriff. Then there's God Emperor Doom. Then there's Sue Storm. Mystery Kid here and then Franklin here. Well, who the hell is this? Who the hell is even that? Okay, now on top of that, there was a leak, and this did come from Majestic, who was, and we got to put a grain of salt there, caveat. Majestic might have been full of shit, but I think Majestic had some accurate information. I think Majestic was parroting a lot of stuff that was in that Scooper Discord. And one of the things Majestic said was that one of the post-credit scenes for Doomsday, not Secret Wars, but Doomsday, would show Doctor Doom in the crowd on Battleworld with 1602 type styled clothing on everybody. Doom's there with Sue, Franklin, and another kid, a small girl. That's the leak. On top of that, Vanessa Kirby happened to be pregnant when she was filming Avengers Doomsday. So you put all those things together and you start to use your imagination. It's quite possible that she's pregnant with Valyria, and as Doom is recreating Battleworld, he takes not only Franklin and Sue, but also Valyria, just like in the 2015 Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars comic book. He takes Valyria Richards. Now, the other thing that's cool about this is the rumor, guys, right? This rumor says that this will be for the sequel to the Fantastic Four. But the reason this would make sense is because it's likely an even younger girl. Like maybe they could have her in Secret Wars as well, but let's just say it would be an even younger girl for Secret Wars. And if she is indeed raised by Doctor Doom during Secret Wars, then that kind of fills in her story from actual Marvel Comics, because she is literally named by Victor Von Doom. The TLDR on that is like, basically there was some crazy going on with Johnny's powers. It transferred over to Sue when she was pregnant, and basically the kid was going to die. Reed couldn't figure it out. Victor figures it out. He helps her. She has the daughter, and the only thing Victor asks is for the ability to name the child, and he names the child Valyria, who is the name of his old lover, whom he actually like had feelings for. People used her against him. He had to become Doctor Doom or whatever, but it showed that like he still had some feelings for Valyria. He names this child Valyria. On top of that, they have a really crazy relationship to the point where she calls him Uncle Doom. For all intents and purposes, Valyria Richards is raised by Victor Von Doom in Marvel Comics. That is why they have such a strong bond in Marvel Comics. So if this rumor is true, it's kind of a cool way for Marvel to get around the fact that they didn't have Valyria in FF, and now she will be raised by Victor in some way, shape, or form via Secret Wars. And this possibly allows for some version of that to have also happened canon to the Reset MCU, which would mean that Valyria Richards, as we know her from Marvel Comics, could be in the sequel to the Fantastic Four. I like it. I like that. And also, too, this girl is a great actress. I did not love the new Stranger Things stuff. Not really a big fan. But this girl was, like, kind of good. For a child actor, kind of good. I think she looks the part. I think she's a good actress. She's also young. She'll kind of grow into it, you know, being an older Valyria, et cetera, et cetera. Valyria in comics now is, you know, I think she's a young woman, basically. So all this kind of tracks, and I'm not saying it's real, file it under rumor, but again, there's some reasons that this could be, and I actually think it could be awesome. So, chat, what do you make of this? What do you think? 4 years of service and still no Dr. Pepper vending machine on the 31st floor of the tower? Please resolve. Much love. You're gonna have to put that in a in the box. That's for Susan, but yeah. Valyria, hell yeah. I tried to find coverage on CCXP and Tokyo Con. Coverage was limited. It was super limited this weekend. Yeah, it was. Yeah, her pregnant in real life would be a no-brainer to add this to the story. I think so. Yeah, I think it would be good. Have you got any Warhammer Joy Toy figures? Imagine doing a Warhammer tabletop game with those figures. Yeah, I have a couple of them. I want to get the Lion. I had an order for the Lion, and then they canceled it because of the tariffs. I was like, what the fuck? So, yeah, I'd like to get a Lion because he's, to scale, he's like huge compared to a lot of the other figures. I have a Custodes Aloris Terminator. I think that's the one I have, yeah. let's see here. Pedro, anxiety baby? Yeah, maybe. What if they retconned Valyria and made her a variant of Franklin and she was raised by Doom in that universe? Hate it. Hate it. Now, Valyria is just like... So, Franklin has these godlike powers, but Valyria is like literally smarter than Doom and Reed. Not all the time. They kind of jockey for smartest being in the universe, but like that's Valyria's power. Like, she's literally smarter than her dad. Probably smarter than Doom. I think you missed my super earlier. Sorry about that. Or I lagged, but I said that this Endgame re-release should cut a deleted scene into the movie and give us Doom credit scene. I think I went over that because I love that idea and I gushed about it for a while. I think that would be great, man. And I am kind of expecting something like that. And I think it would be an extension of this marketing campaign, like a re-release of Endgame with a post-credit scene or with some bonus stuff. That's a great way to add value. 100%. You need that Dark Angels helmet? I thought I ordered that, but I'm not sure. Is it still available? Because I'll go buy one right now. The time jumps happening in Doomsday through Secret Wars, def possible of the Russos that handle this well. Yes, I agree. Did you finish One World Under Doom? I did not. I did not even start it. Well, no, that's not true, because I read like the first issue or whatever. I'm going to run through it, man. Definitely. Yeah, no worries, man. It happens. No worries. Yep, Holly Wheeler. Oh, she was in Evil Dead Rise? Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. More Holly Wheeler as Valyria? Hell yeah. Dude, I think she's a great pick for this. Like, really and truly, we would be lucky to have her. And they love grabbing up the people from Stranger Things. Like, they love that. They want Millie. They got Sadie, Joseph Quinn. Shit. Yeah, and with the because what is it, 4 or 8 years later after Doomsday, there's rumors that there's going to be like a big gap, and there's already a gap from FF into when they enter 616. So yeah. Okay, sick, John. I swear to God, I thought I ordered one, but maybe not. I'll have to double check. Did you see the life-size Warhammer Space Marine that woman is making? I think I tagged you. Yeah, no, that shit is awesome. So she's making a life-size 2-scale version of not just any Space Marine. She's making Horus Lupercal, who was the War Master. He was massive, but he was also in Terminator armor. So he's a Primarch in Primarch scale Terminator armor. And yeah, I mean, his leg is bigger than her whole body, which is absolutely incredible. That will be a challenge of the show. If they have Primarchs and Space Marines, they're literally like 8-9 feet tall. Some of them are like 11 feet tall. So it'll be difficult, but that's a part of the joy for me. Like, that's a part of the fun. So I hope they nail it. Isn't One World Under Doom still going? I believe it has resolved, but there's now a series that's like an epilogue that's going to be to get the rule of Latveria. Whoever's going to become the new Sorcerer Supreme and whoever's going to rule Latveria. Yeah. I still want to know what they're going to do about Pepper and Morgan Stark. Like, they have to acknowledge them, no? Oh yeah, I think so. I think they're a decent part of the story because they're the reason Tony didn't want Cap to change time. Right? So I think that's going to play out. Ooh, Adam, that's kind of an interesting idea. Maybe. Did y'all talk about how Sam Wilson is the leader of the Avengers, yet he's listed number 4 on the roster? I mean, I haven't talked about that, but I'll tell you what I think is going on. Do you want me to tell you what I think is going on? So that team was called Cap's team. I don't think it's Sam Wilson's team, frankly. It might start as Sam Wilson's team, but I'm pretty sure as soon as Thor and Loki show up, Steve Rogers will also be there. So I think that's Cap's team, but it's Steve's. But we'll see. Disney makes everyone go see Avatar trailer and now re-release for potential new post-credit scene money. That's true. They're good at that, huh? Would be wild if the release of Endgame is an alternate timeline. What? Bro, that's kind of a cool idea. I don't know that they would go that far, but that would be cool. Yes, that would be quite cool. I mean, I wanted Valyria. I was like, one of the things I was disappointed was, you know, they're going away from MCU. They're going more dude bro coded. And I was like thinking to myself, I was like, damn, dude, if we don't get Valyria because of that, that would be such a shame. Because like Valyria is so much cooler than Miss Marvel, Echo, Red Scarab. Like, who are these fucking characters? Even fucking Yelena. Like, what? Yelena Belova? No, dude, Valyria Richards is so much more of a cool character than all of those characters. So hopefully they keep that around. She would be a great addition. I actually have not watched episode 4 of Stranger Things Click Clack, and I've been close to putting it on a couple of times. Here's the problem. My wife is not going to watch any more of it. Now, Elisa always didn't like this season more than I didn't like it, but damn, it got to the point where she's like, I'm not watching any more of this. So now, anytime I'm watching stuff with her, it can't be that episode. And a couple of times I was like, okay, I'm on my own here. And I'm like, okay, I could put on the 4th episode. I'm just really not feeling it. Like, I do not care enough. I can't believe it. But that's kind of where I'm at with it, dude. So, no, I have not watched it. Mm-hmm. Who do you think Doom kills off for the reboot? Well, Doom's going to kill a bunch of people off, but the reset, because Kevin doesn't like the word reboot, the reset, I don't think is going to be because of people Doom killed. I think it's going to be more like, hey, this character was not very popular, you know? Any chance Doom shows up at the end of Endgame and Dream walks into Tony? That would be nuts, dude. Didn't the Russos say Tony's sacrifice has something to do with RGJ Dr. Doom? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Which the current explanation is that when Tony did that, it actually made it so that He Who Remains no longer had control of the timeline. Kind of interesting. She-Hulk could have been cool, but they botched her. Oh, yeah. I mean, dude, it's really simple to solve She-Hulk, though. You need to get a much more, like literally a bigger person than Tatiana. And she has to be super hot, and she has to be super horny, and she has to be fun. She has to be fun. So literally, that's all you need. You need a bigger, hornier, more fun version of She-Hulk. Gina? Hell yeah, that would be great. Well, they aren't recasting her, so what's your realistic take? Oh, you don't think they're going to recast her? You don't think so? I mean, the rumor right now, Adam, is that she refuses to be in any of the movies because of Disney's stance politically. You don't think they're going to recast her? Maybe not for these next couple of movies, but... And actors never change their mind? Let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens to all the Hulks. Maybe a fresh slate of Hulks. Let's just see. Tony is the Beyonder. Our Tony is the one who snapped. Boom, I got to make a video. That would be nuts. That would be pretty crazy, yeah. Yeah, they aren't recasting for Doomsday Secret Wars. I'll take the bet. No. I don't think they're recasting for those films either. But what I'm saying is post Secret Wars for the reset, you're going to see a ton of new faces. Just left class. Are we mad at theaters? No. And by the way, never been mad at theaters. Like that's a very odd way of explaining my take. I remember when my Hulks weren't all so liberal. Yeah. And you know what? They had one that was maybe going to be conservative, and then maybe they fucked that up too. I wonder what will replace The Boys when it ends. I think they're going to do another series. They'll do another series with some of those characters, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm mad at theaters for popcorn and fountain drink prices. Yeah, I mean, I think that's crazy, but is that really their fault? The majority of ticket sales go to not to the theaters. So in a sense, they've had to jack those prices up to make some kind of money. I mean, I think the whole system's fucked up. You don't hate theaters, but you sure were rooting for failure during the Keelar run? Well, I don't think I was necessarily rooting for their failure. I just thought their time was over. And I still do. You know what I mean? Like, I just think their time is over unless they want to add value to the marketplace. This rent-seeking behavior is not it. And I just don't think there's going to be a way around that, you know? I thought 50% of the sales went to the theaters. Nope. Next boys show is VOT Rising. What the hell is VOT Rising? I don't know what that is. Bring back smoking in theaters. Yeah, that'd be a good start. They will only survive if the studios buy up the theaters. AMC can't handle anymore thanks to Adam Aaron. Oh, dude, you're talking about the great Adam Aaron? I like the stock Adam Aaron. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, everybody, I think that's going to do it for this segment. I think that's going to do it for today's stream. Nice girthy one, over 3 hours for y'all. Lots of great topics. Let me know your thoughts about this whole situation in the comment section below or right here in the chat. Oh, it's a Soldier Boy spinoff. That sounds good. Adam Aaron is the world's best CEO. Adam, that's a crazy take. But hey, you can have it. That's fine. W Stream, much love. Hey, appreciate you guys. Thank you for the love, man. We'll have, I already did a video this morning. It's a pretty good one about how the Dr. Doom plan is like way older than people think. A lot of fun evidence in that video. Go check that out. And I will be working on some pretty cool content for the main channel tomorrow. Some clips will post later tonight. Some clips will post tomorrow. There's plenty of topics. So we'll have a few clips today, a few clips tomorrow. No stream tomorrow. We'll be back at it on Wednesday. Regular stream in the morning. The member stream Wednesday night is a big, big deal, updating you with changes coming in 2026 for the members, but it is also the last members stream of this year. I'm going to take several weeks off of member streams in order to cook content and get stuff ready for 2026. Lots of fun stuff coming, man. Lots of fun stuff coming. The Real Dark Boyd says, just curious, what do you not like about the new Stranger Things season? So I think that it is going, it's doing a lot of stuff I don't like. Retreading old stories. Certain character dynamics fall apart for the sake of conflict and don't feel natural. There's too many characters. Everything feels spread out. All the conversations feel like they're just like reverse engineered ways to get to plot points. Yeah, it's basically just doing a lot of stuff that I don't like. Yeah. Thinking Snyder is the answer for Midhammer is a crazy take, says Justin. What? Thanks for the stream. Have a great day. See you on Wednesday. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Much love. It's literally the MCU. Yeah, they've done a lot of similar things. I mean, it's easy. It's the reason these things happen is because it's really easy for people to grab them. Okay, so think about Kenobi. Like, look, it's the most low-hanging fruit, stupidest, simplest way to create a story like that. You think about it and you're like, well, I need conflict. So I have to take this character who was a Jedi and have him be a broken man. And then him building up to being the Jedi again creates conflict. And in a sense, that's true, but it's also like the fucking laziest way to do that shit. And Hollywood does it all the time. This is one of my big problems with Guardians 2. Guardians 1 has this great arc of this found family, the conflict between them, overcoming it, and coming together. And then Guardians 2 is like, yeah, but it didn't work. They're all still hate each other. Like, it's so silly. Like, it's just lazy. Yeah, I don't like it. Last Diamond Lounge of the year. I don't know what that is, but thank you for the 2. Hollywood does a lot of lazy writing. Yes, they do. Yeah. I have like Stranger Things so far, but also everything seems way convenient And I feel like no one will really die this season, and they should. Yeah, it just doesn't have the juice for me, man. It just doesn't have the juice for me. Yeah. All right, everybody, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, man. Much love to you all. And as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video.
The following program, though incredibly nerdy, is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised, and you probably shouldn't watch if you're an overly sensitive pussy.
All right, hold up. We have to listen to this real quick. This is David Ellison. This is crazy. Listen to this.
Our offer is $30 a share, all cash, $41 billion in equity that's backstopped by the Ellison family and Redbird, $54 billion in debt with commitments from Citi, Bank of America, and Apollo. We have faster regulatory certainty to close, and our deal is pro-consumer, it's pro-creative talent, it's pro-competition, and we believe that when you actually, to further contextualize, our $30 in cash, or sorry, $30 a share, is basically $17.6 billion in cash more than the $23 in share that they signed up.
Right. Well, you're not obviously paying. You're paying for global networks. Their deal doesn't involve paying for global networks, which are traded as its public company. Which, by the way, also figures very prominently here in trying to determine what the overall value of the respective deals are. Because there are $27.75, including obviously the stock portion of their deal, but it also includes, well, what's global networks? Is it a $2 stock? Is it a $4 stock? What do you see? Because that can go a long way in terms of at least determining why the board may have said, no, we think Netflix is superior.
So respectfully, we think that basically that's valued at $1 a share. I think if you
why
look,
$1?
So if you look at Versant and where the median of all of this is, it's about 4.5 times. You have to get to 5 times equity value or more to basically get to the, kind of $3 plus that you're claiming. But again, I think the most important thing to go back here is, look, we're sitting on Wall Street where cash is still king. We are offering shareholders $17.6 billion more cash than the deal that they currently have signed up with Netflix. And we believe when they see what is currently in our offer, that that's what they'll vote for.
God damn. God damn. This shit's gonna be crazy. Okay, well, I guess we'll just see about that, huh? Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Oh man, y'all did not like me shitting on the theaters. Oh god, you guys are so upset about the theaters. God save the theaters. God save Hollywood. Anyway, I thought it was a good stream. Thought it was fun, man. We're gonna have a lot of fun for the rest of the week, and I think next week's gonna be even more crazy as we get ready for Avengers Doomsday. But I wouldn't mind if it came out on Thursday right after the Supergirl trailer as well. That'd be pretty cool. Hell yeah. How's Kill Bill? I actually literally decided not to watch it after that shit with Paul Dano. I was literally like, yo, what the fuck? Guess what, Quentin? Guess what? I'll stay home and watch movies. And I did. Because the theater experience is actually just rent-seeking propaganda, all that shit we said earlier. All right, anyway, much love to y'all. Hey, get on out here, enjoy the rest of your day. Do me a favor on your way out. Actually, make it 2. Open up your third eye and wash out your stinky, stinky butt. Hey!